Welcome back into a special edition of Rounding Third podcast. We decided to go live tonight because we had 3 games today, 2 still going on, and then we got the D-backs and Dodgers. So we're just going to be on here doing a little bit of roundtable talk, talking about anything baseball related. You're welcome to join us in the chat. If you would like to come on the show with us, you can also send us a message on Facebook, and we can get you on here if you would like, okay? But before we get started, make sure you just follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, we're going to welcome our first guest in, which is Craig. Craig's an avid Yankees fan, unfortunately. But yeah, so Craig, how's it going, buddy?
Not too bad, man. How are you?
You know, I really can't rag on you because the Red Sox aren't much better. So
no, it's kind of weird without the other one of them in the playoffs.
It really, right? Isn't it weird that both of them missed the playoffs? Like usually, you at least have one of them.
Right.
I mean, not just miss the playoffs, like not even contend for it.
Weren't even close.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's a disaster. It was a whole disaster for both of them. But
all right, so Yankees fan, what are the moves they need to make to get back? How do you fix that? Because that is a hot mess.
I would start with a new training staff.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that. Dominguez comes up and he's got a UCL problem. Like, how are non-pitchers going down with UCLs?
I don't get it. I know that there was a report in August, I think it was, about how they changed their whole minor league system and how they're just wanting to hit bombs and not even it's the way there's swing angles and all this other stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't get how the entire team from top to bottom to the minor leagues have almost all of them spent time on the DL.
Yeah, it's painful.
What's your thoughts on Boone and Cashman? They need to go, right?
I'm 100% on board with Cashman going, and I'm not really convinced it's Boone's fault, but
really,
unfortunately, something has to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you get the sense though at times that Cashman just runs that like it's a fantasy team? He's just out there signing big names because it's cool.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I feel like he's like a fantasy baseball manager. It doesn't matter what the stats say or what the advanced stats say, but he's got a big name, and that would be a sexy name to pencil into the lineup.
Correct.
Dude, it's like speaking of advanced stat, that post that you posted earlier, Harrison, about Schwarber was absolutely mind-blowing.
Right?
That thing was I'm speechless. I don't even know how to wrap my mind around it.
No, I got to find it. I got to find it so I can read it.
It was absolutely nuts.
It's
just about
bizarre.
The metrics of him as a player, but the stats don't show. I mean, other than the bombs and RBIs, obviously.
Right.
It was crazy to me.
Let's see. So,
but
yeah, let me pull it up because it blew my mind too when I was reading it. That's why I shared it.
But yeah, while he's pulling that up, the Phillies are absolutely putting a shellacking on the Braves. Bryce Harper's gone deep. Castellanos gone deep twice. Harper's gone deep twice. Sorry, Castellanos has gone deep twice. Marsh went deep. They're killing them right now. Harper rounding second base and staring down Arcia is the coldest picture in baseball. It's
what did I miss there with the whole stare down with Arcia?
So Arcia made some gesture or some sound when Harper got doubled off from first to end the game.
Oh.
And then it was a whole beef. And then now Harper went deep twice and just stared him down while he's going around the bases. So and I mean Arcia's hitting 187 in the playoffs. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's all right. I found this Kyle Schwarber post, so I'll just break down the highlights because it's a little bit long. So for Schwarber this year, so Schwarber's 2023, it was referenced. It's an extreme example of the overall shift in MLB. He only put the ball in play in 53% of his plate appearances, but obviously based on the numbers you see, he gets results because he hit so many bombs. He had an overall WAR of 0.7.
Wow.
Now that is actually hurt because he plays the field and he's awful in the outfield. But his offensive WAR is 2.8, which means his defensive WAR is, what is that? -1 point something.
Yeah.
But when you look at the 2023 season, he's got the most homers in a season by any player to finish with a sub 200 batting average. He's the first player with a sub 200 batting average to hit 40 home runs. He reached base more via walk, 126 walks, than hits, where he only had a total of 115 hits. He had one more single, 48, than home runs, 47. He had exactly 100 more strikeouts, 215, than hits, 115.
Crazy.
So when you think about that, it, as we've said, like his slash line looks weird. He's got a high OBP, a low batting average, a bunch of home runs and RBIs. And it's like he's like the perfect example of like the player that's in the middle of this MLB transition where singles don't matter, batting average doesn't matter. It's all about home runs and OBP. And he's the exact example of that because that's a guy that 20 years ago nobody would want. And today
Right.
he's a considered to be one of the best hitters in baseball.
It really is mind blowing. When we looked up his stats like last time, or when we were doing the top 100 or whatever, like his batting average at that point was like
It
187,
doesn't look right.
and his OBP was like almost 400, and we're like, wait, what? Like it's crazy, but it's because of the walks.
More
But
walks than hits. Like think about that for a minute. The guy only managed 115 hits in all those games he played.
Yeah. And it was either, it's nuts. 48 singles, 47 homers. Is that what he ended with?
Yeah, 40. Yeah, exactly. 48 and 47. And then a few doubles.
I mean, if you don't look at that
Mind
batting
blowing.
average, you're like, oh my god.
Right. You know, this guy's amazing. You look at the batting average and go, wait a second, what? Doesn't make any sense. And he was hitting out of the leadoff spot sometimes. That's the even crazier thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who bats leadoff with a sub 200 batting average?
Somebody with a 400 OBP.
Right, exactly. He's like the extreme example of Moneyball.
Yeah.
I like him.
So, yeah.
Say it again.
You what?
I like him as a player. I know that he doesn't hit well and he's kind of a defensive liability, but he's just one of those guys that's just flashy at times, streaky.
Well, he's the guy that
Yeah.
one swing can change a game. He's always a threat. And he, although he doesn't put the ball in play a lot, he always has deep at bats. He's not like, 1, 2, 3, you're out. He works deep counts. He fouls balls off. Like he makes pitchers earn it. But my God, the guy just can't put the ball in play.
Yeah.
And when he does, it's a home run.
Yeah, absolutely. So Phillies just knocked off the Braves 10-2.
Jesus.
That Phillies team, we talk about building a team for the postseason versus building a team for the regular season. That team is built for the playoffs.
Oh, what?
Their bullpen, their starting pitching, their lineup, they are built for the playoffs. Like, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But we might see another 100-win team not make it to the next round.
Yeah.
So you had the 101 win Orioles get swept. You've got the 100-win Dodgers, who are down 2-0. And you've got the 104-win Braves down 2-1. So you've got your 300-win teams have combined so far to win one playoff game.
Blows my mind.
It's
Like,
just
that's a problem.
yeah, it's a crazy. And then you add the new format into it too. That's a lot of time off if you got to buy. You got to wait you got to wait half a week before you even get a game in.
Yeah,
Yep.
we were talking about that on Monday night, Craig. We hate that. Are you in the same boat?
I don't like it, but it's cool to get a couple teams like the Marlins in there that you wouldn't have normally see that wouldn't have it, something like that. That aspect of it's cool, but I don't really like the new format. I don't.
Yeah, I'm with you. Baseball's not meant to have 3, 4, 5 days off. You can't, Nick and I were talking, the D-backs have all this momentum. Well, you get momentum from playing. You don't get momentum from sitting around doing simulated games at your ballpark. That's empty.
Right.
No.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, if you are watching and you want to come on the show and join, you're more than welcome. Send me a message, send the podcast a message, and we'll get you on. You can also join us in the chat. So, yeah, I was like, my thing is like, I almost want to do it like hockey playoffs. Literally 8 teams from each league make it. Your division winners make it. They get the top 3 seeds or whatever, and then it's 5 wild card teams. Like, yeah, it might water it down at first, but teams are going to adjust to that. But then everyone's playing in the first round, and you can keep the days off limited. Yes, you're going to have time off if a series gets ended before another one. I get that, but you're not going to have a 5-day layoff. That never happens during the playoffs.
Well, the only problem to that I'll say, I kind of like your thought process on it. Do we shorten the season, or because I mean you're gonna either start games way in March, or you're gonna start games, you're gonna run your season into November.
Yeah, true. You're adding at least a week to the
Adding
playoffs.
I mean,
yeah, you're adding what, 3 days?
No, you're gonna if you add 4 more teams to the playoff mix of 3 more.
Oh, you would add another, right?
You got a whole other round
series, right? Yeah,
I
because you could keep the format kind of where it is, like the games. Like the first round is 3 games, then go to 5, then go to 7, or even the next 2 rounds are 5, and then go 7-7, something like that. I mean, I don't have the answers for it, but that way teams aren't getting a long rest, and you can reseed the tournament. Like if you're the Braves, you're the number 1 seed, you get the 8 seed. If you beat them, somehow the 7 seed upsets the 2 seed. Now the Braves get the 7 seed. That's how hockey does it, and I love that. No one's getting a break. The Florida Panthers, I brought this up I think on Monday. Florida Panthers ran the gauntlet,
right,
and got to the Stanley Cup Finals. Like you're gonna have some interesting runs through the bit. And you're only going to have more fans and more eyeballs on the TV come postseason.
Right.
Yeah.
If you add another week at 180 games already at this point, like what's another week?
Yeah. What's another 3 or 5?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if the MLBPA would go for that.
No.
That's.
Well, I think it'd be a hard sell to the union. Yeah. They're going to be like, okay, so you're going to pay the guys the same amount of money, but you're going to sell more tickets and earn more money on TV.
Right.
You would have to almost give them a bigger playoff share.
That's probably how they solve it.
1,000%. Yeah, absolutely.
But then I don't think the union does it either anyway, because the union.
And then the owner's gonna be like, so we're gonna make less for extra games. We don't care. Like, then just don't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they fought hard. They fought hard just to make this change in the owner.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like they changed a playoff format every 4 or 5 years anyway.
They do.
I mean,
lately.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate them wanting to try to keep it fresh at times, but at the same time, it's like you're tinkering. Like nothing ever really settles in.
Yeah. I think we'll see a change when, the next 4 or 5 years when this expansion team comes in. That looks like it's inevitable that it's going to come in. The Nashville Stars, they have that group going. And then they're going to add another team to, most likely even it out. So then we'll have 32. You have 16 in the NL, 16 in the AL. I don't know where you would go division-wise. You have the A's moving. So maybe they keep it like this until it's settled like that and then make a change. But I don't know. I mean, that's half of your teams making the playoffs every year. That's the kind of downside to that. Would the playoffs be watered down at that point?
I as a baseball fan don't think so, but the average fan probably won't think it is.
I was gonna say, I feel like, I mean, I'd watch baseball year round if they'd play 12 months, but I think to the average fan, you at some point you lose their attention span.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I have a hard time with 162 games trying to keep up with it with summer and life and everything, but no.
And that's the beauty of baseball. Baseball, you don't have to watch baseball every day. You really can follow it. You can watch it when you can and catch up on the highlights and box scores when you can't. And like you can just kind of follow it at times. But the playoffs, I don't want to follow the playoffs because there's so many games. Like I want to be able to get into it.
Right.
Man, the Harper stare down with Arcia was epic, huh?
Oh, yeah, dude.
I'm watching the replays of it now. It's like I didn't catch it when it happened, but wow.
Yeah, he absolutely stared him down. Rightfully so. Like, who are you, Orlando Arcia, compared to Bryce Harper?
I know. That's the thing. It's always these fringe guys that like make a big deal or say something stupid, and then get that kind of flack.
I mean, my thought on that play too, like people are on the fence about it. You either hate that play that Bryce Harper made to get doubled off in that situation, or or you can defend it. And I'm on the defensive side of Bryce Harper. They're down by 1. It's top of the 9th. He needs to score. Like, it was an absolute gamble to go. I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably went a little too far, because if he's standing on second base, he can still get back to first, but he can also score if it does bounce off the wall. However, like I said, like, that run needs to score.
Yeah,
for them
he
to win.
sold out to make sure that
Like-
he scored no matter what.
Right. So that's where I kind of defend it. And they're up in the series.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they're up 1-0. It's a calculated risk. He just gambled wrong.
Yeah, I don't
So
I don't hate the play.
I get it, but
I don't hate
yeah.
the play. It was absolutely a calculated risk. He wandered a little further to make sure that he could score if it drops. Harris makes a great play on that ball too. So,
well, not even Harris, but the back end of that.
well,
play,
true with
Austin
Riley. Yeah, you know, Harris
up
makes a
and
great
backing
catch.
out.
Both cutoff guys miss it. Riley bails him out by coming in behind, and it was still a super close play, even though Harper sold out. So he
Right.
made them make a play. They did, and they move on to the next day.
Yep. But then that's when the beef with Arcia started. Was Arcia made some noise?
Yeah, it was
or
then he said,
sound or
"Ha ha,
something.
attaboy Harper" in the clubhouse. Apparently,
That's what it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
that was some clip that was caught.
So then, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. But I mean, the Phillies look like a well-oiled machine right now.
They really
and
do.
It's crazy. They're pitching right now. Nola and Wheeler are just, and then Ranger Suarez with that start. I mean, those three look untouchable right now. They're throwing well. And it's, I mean, you look at like the Twins right now. The Twins have been in the bullpen since the second inning.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference, right? You have the Phillies where you have starters that can go deep. And then, you know, Jose Urquidy's still pitching for the Astros in the 5th inning. But the Twins are playing like Charlie Holstaff right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they're, you know, everybody has to pitch for the Twins to even have a chance to win this game.
Royce Lewis homered again.
Homered again.
Good Lord.
The kicker with that is Julian led off the game, the bottom of the first, with a double. He's on second base. There's a line drive hit up the middle. Pena catches it and dives and doubles him
Oh
off.
man.
And then Royce Lewis hit the solo home run right after. So it would have been a 2-run shot.
Yeah.
If Julian was
Well,
on
and
second,
the
but
killer too is not only is Urquidy still in the game, he's only thrown 70 pitches. Like he's just warmed up.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
just cruising.
Yeah.
I mean, God love the
Um,
Twins. You know, nobody expected them to
No.
make a lot of noise, and good for them for, you know, getting to where they've gotten to. But that team still doesn't have the depth to really battle these top tier teams yet. They're still on the outside.
Not quite. Yeah, they have some pitching. They have some young pitching that's going to come up and make an impact for them, I think. You know, Joe Ryan's good. I mean, he only went 1 inning tonight.
Yeah,
and
which
they
is
just
strange. I
pulled
mean,
him out,
26 pitches, gave up 1 run and got yanked. I don't get it, but
but yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was the plan going in, was
Probably.
just bullpen. So I don't know. But if it's not Yordan Alvarez killing you this series, it's freaking Jose Abreu, who hadn't hit a home run like all year. And then the guy's just like found himself, and like the last month and a half, he's been on fire.
I say Jose Abreu didn't like
And-
wake up until like the middle of August, and then all of a sudden he was
Yeah.
like he couldn't be stopped.
Yep, he's got 3 bombs this series. Jordan's got 4.
Apparently,
I
it takes,
think
apparently it takes 3 or 4 months to wake that old body up.
they said that they had. I can't remember the stat off the top of my head, but they said they had like 17 RBIs between the two of them or something like
Unreal.
that. And they've produced 70% of the Astros runs this series.
Wow.
Yep. Believe it.
Man, I hate the Astros. I hate everything about them. But man,
I think we're all just done with them. It's
you
as
got-
as Patriots fans, we heard it for years. People were the AFC Championship came through New England every freaking year, and people were just
Freaking
so
year.
tired of it.
and I get it.
I get it.
Like you said, being on the receiving end of the Patriots hate, like now it's my turn to start dishing it out because
Yeah.
I mean, but the Astros, man, they're so good. It's unreal.
And they keep bringing
Like-
up players like, you know, Pena comes up and he's great. Kyle Tucker's great. They just keep rolling these guys out of the minor leagues that are better than anything we've seen the Red Sox roll out in a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Same thing with
Yeah, you get rid of Correa, your platinum glove, perennial all-star shortstop, and you just substitute
Yeah.
Jeremy Pena in there like it's
and win the
nothing.
World Series the next season like it's no big deal.
Yep.
And he wins the World Series MVP.
Right.
Like on top of that.
Bananas.
Yeah. I hate it.
Man,
But
the Braves looked awful at the plate tonight.
yeah, Nola had them in a rocking chair early.
Yep.
It was
They
ugly.
look the approaches aren't, they just look rusty. They look like they haven't hit. They're
I mean,
guessing.
Philly's got to be one of the hardest places to play. Did you see? I think it was after Bryce's second home run, the entire stadium, Citizens Bank Park, stood up and started doing the Braves chop chant.
I mean,
No.
Philly fans are intense.
Sick.
They are the worst fans in the world because they will throw shit on the field. They are nasty fans, but they are intense
God,
and
that's
passionate.
That
Yep.
that was awesome. I loved it. I loved every second of that. Them doing the Braves chop, like it was just. I was like,
Yep.
that's
They
awesome.
are Philly fans are awful, but they are absolutely passionate, intense fans.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I think the Twins are done after tonight. I think I have a feeling it's going to be an all Texas ALCS.
That'll be
Let's touch on
they'll be
that.
driving an
go
hour
ahead.
back and forth to each other.
Yeah, right. I think it's 2 easy, Harrison.
Yeah.
But man, it's crazy. That it's going to be interesting to see the two teams that can mash. I mean, the Rangers are ridiculous at the plate. They can't. Corey Seager sets a postseason record with 5 walks. That Baltimore
silly.
game, crazy. But I don't know. There's no teams left. I would have said the Braves that could slug with the Rangers.
All right, I was wrong. They're like
But-
3.5 hours apart.
3.5. My bad. But
They'll fly it, and that'll be like a 10-minute flight.
right. Takes longer to push off from the gate.
It'll take longer to push off from the gate, land, and drive to the ballpark than if you just all jumped in a bus and went.
Right. Yeah.
12-minute flight.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think I like the Rangers against the Astros. I know the Astros have been proven, but I think I like that matchup.
I think Houston wins it.
You do?
I do.
You
I
think
think
Houston's
the
going
experience takes it.
I feel this. I
Fair.
feel the same way. I think Texas can beat them, but where Houston's been there so many times, the game won't be too big. The series won't be too big. A lot of those Rangers players, this is going to be their first taste, and I don't know. I mean, can Texas do it? Absolutely, but I'm going to pick Houston until somebody beats them, and because nobody's done it.
It kind of reminds me of like the mid '90s when the Yankees were winning, like the late '90s when the Yankees were rolling, and then they would meet the Red Sox for the first time in like '99 in the ALCS, and the Red Sox could have beat them, but then you had that whole you had the Red Sox Yankees mix with the playoffs, and then the Yankees had experience and
took the Red Sox 3 attempts to finally beat him in 04 and they had to come back from 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean, it was again, it was the Yankees were the ones until they weren't. Somebody's got to knock them off.
The Astros are 9-4 against the Rangers.
Yeah,
this
they've
year,
owned them.
So.
I mean, then the thing is, this Astros team plays really, really well against good teams. They aren't bothered by them at all.
I don't know. Here comes Minnesota.
No. I posted the question, I think today, is like, when do they start treating Yordan Alvarez in the playoffs like Barry Bonds? Why are you even pitching to this guy?
Because he's got enough protection. Do you really want Kyle Tucker or Jose Abreu? I mean, with the Astros, it's pick your poison. You got Altuve, you got Bregman, you got Alvarez, you got Tucker, you've got, Abreu. Who do you want to hurt you? Because somebody's going to.
Yeah, but you don't let him hurt you.
You don't. But how many shots do you want to give Tucker and Abreu?
More than Alvarez.
It's fair.
I-
You keep putting guys on base in front of these guys, though, they will hurt you.
I totally get that. I think it's still a bigger risk to pitch to
Yeah,
Alvarez.
3-2 Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Julian with a bomb.
Yeah, I just saw it. I've been watching I got the pregame up for the Dodgers D-backs game.
Yep. I'm gonna switch that over. I was just watching Blackhawks Bruins real quick. It's really weird to see Patrice Bergeron out of a Bruins uniform.
Oh, did they honor him today?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
But-
weird not having him out there.
It is. Like most of my adult life, he's been out there.
I was just gonna say I can't remember a time when he wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's been so long. Oh boy. All right. So D-backs Dodgers. What do we got tonight?
Dodgers win tonight.
I'm not picking against my Snakes, baby. I'm not.
They've been a fun team for you to watch this.
Dude, I have started watching them in April, and I have been on the D-backs train since April, and I have enjoyed every inning I've watched of them. They're a fun team to watch. Corbin Carroll is the real deal, man. I haven't seen a young kid like that. I mean, yes, there has been good ones like J-Rod and
Bobby Witt Jr.
recently. Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, that kid's ridiculous too. But I absolutely in love with Corbin Carroll. Like, the dude's unreal. 50 stolen bags in your rookie year. Like, that's silly.
Yeah, I mean he's
25 bombs.
he's unique. He's a unique talent.
Yeah. Covers everything in the outfield. They're fun. I mean, Gabriel Moreno behind the plate. That kid's got a cannon. Great defensively. Offensively, he's good. He threw out, I think it was close to 40% of the base runners in a game where stealing's quote unquote easier, this year. It's been awesome. But I don't believe in Lance Lynn. That's where my thing goes in with the Dodgers. I don't believe in Lance Lynn in this situation.
Although,
I mean, he could come out and have great stuff because Lance Lynn is capable of doing.
He was great once he got out of Chicago.
Yeah. What's killing the Dodgers is their two MVPs at the top of the lineup are a combined like 2 for 20 or something like that. They have had a wretched postseason.
Yep.
I love Betts. I love Freeman, but I hate them because they're a Dodger. First of all, they're my Yankees of the NL, and they just haven't performed. Your top two table setters and run producers. I mean, Betts had 107 RBIs this year. Freeman had 100. They're just not getting on. They're not doing it, and that's what's kind of killing the Dodgers right now.
Yeah. Well, and the hard part too is that Mookie Betts is not like overwhelmingly great in the playoffs. His numbers are average, maybe average to below average in the playoffs. So he's not way off of what's normal for him. I mean, I remember in 2018 for the Red Sox, he didn't do jack until the World Series. Like, he didn't do anything for them for the first couple of rounds. And Freeman's generally got good playoff numbers, but he's absolutely ripped a few balls right at people. Like, just hit a bunch of atom balls.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, so I take the D-backs in this one. It's they're at home. It's their first home playoff game. I'm taking them.
I know you are, but
that's just how
Dodgers win tonight. I really do.
I really want to see the D-backs just take the Dodgers right out of the playoffs so we can laugh about it. But I agree. I feel like the Dodgers are going to have to win one of these games at some point. They're going to make this interesting.
Yeah, they're not going.
Man, that D-backs lineup is just so hot right now. Like, all of them. It's not just one or two guys that are killing the Dodgers right now. Like, Longoria is 38 years old, and he's putting that bats together, driving in runs, driving the ball. I don't know. I know I'm a little biased, but that's how I feel.
Just a little.
But I mean, I'm gonna ride it, man. They're hot. They're gonna run into a buzzsaw, whoever comes out of the NL East tournament over there. But man, I think they win tonight. That's I'm going for it.
Yeah,
because if you let the Dodgers back into the series, it's not good for them. Even if they let the Dodgers win tonight, it's not good.
no, and I feel like if you're the D-backs, like I feel the same way. Like it's not a must-win game because that's insane to think you're at a
Right.
must-win game for the D-backs who are up 2-0. But you are in a don't let them gain momentum situation. Because if you let the Dodgers come out and win tonight, and they start to feel better about themselves, and they can come out back out tomorrow. Like if you let them build some momentum, then this could get away from you fast.
Oh yeah.
Agree. The one thing the D-backs addressed when they started having that skid in August was their bullpen. Their bullpen was wretched, and then they made that deal for Seawald at the deadline, and it shored up everything in their bullpen. Their bullpen has been lights out. No one has been able to touch their bullpen. It's been awesome. They've been pitching very well.
Yeah. So Mookie Betts in his career, he's appeared in the ALDS 3 times. He's at 238. He's appeared in the NLDS 4 times. He's at 283. He's appeared in 1 ALCS. He hit 217. 2 NLCSs. He hit 224. 2 World Series. He hit 245.
Yeah, not what you're really looking for out of your, perennial MVP.
Yeah, and almost all of his World Series production came in 2020.
Which doesn't count.
No.
I mean, with the Red Sox in 18, he hit 188 in the DS, 217 in the CS, 217 in the World Series. I mean, he didn't do anything for him in 18. They won.
What does that break down to? Like what, 2 for 18? I don't know. Math is hard, but that's not very good.
He had 13 hits in 62 at bats.
Yeah.
13 for 62, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 12 strikeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, playoff wise, Mookie doesn't have a great track record in the playoffs.
No.
Yeah.
But I thought it was better than that.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, last year in the NLDS when they lost to the Padres, he had a $143. He had 2 hits and 14 at bats. The year before that in the NLCS when they lost to Atlanta, he had a $174.
Wow.
He had
Realized it was
four
that
hits and
bad.
23 at bats. I mean, he's consistently not come up in the playoffs big.
And see, Freddie Freeman is steady.
Steady.
You look at his career postseason, he's 291, 51 hits, 10 homers, 23 RBIs, 25 runs scored, 48 games. Like that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
But he's not giving it to him this year.
And for Mookie, it's 57 games. He's got 58 hits in 227 at bats, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, 43 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Not a great career line for Mookie.
Dang. No. Yeah.
So for him to struggle, I'm not surprised because it's been kind of his MO. But for Freeman to struggle, that's a bit of a surprise because Freddie is so consistent. It's frustrating.
I feel with this Dodgers lineup, I could be wrong. I might again just be biased the other way. Is after you get JD Martinez, none of those hitters really scare me.
No, their lineup falls off fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't, they're not as deep as the Phillies are, the Braves are. Hell, I mean, even the Diamondbacks at this point.
Oh wow.
I feel like the back half of their lineup is very weak.
I just heard, oh wow, what was the oh wow?
Yeah, you're just a little bit ahead of us.
Okay. Yeah, you'll see. I'm sorry. He's safe.
Oh, they think he came off the bag.
You think that's what it was?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it looked like
he was already past the bag, but he must have popped off.
wow. So they haven't shown a replay of it, and they didn't challenge it. So
yeah, you watch his upper body. He slides past. Oh, never mind. He slides past the base, and Pena kept the tag on him. I think that's what it was. That stinks.
They didn't even show a replay of it. So
no. Yeah. Yeah, good run for the Twins. I'm glad they, got that playoff series win behind them. But I mean, they're going to control the AL Central there for a while. I think
I
I
think
agree.
they're young. They have the pitching. There's nobody else in that division that scares me. With Tito leaving Cleveland, them selling pieces,
Yeah.
you know, they're in rebuild mode. The White Sox are no words for the White Sox.
They're lost.
The Royals have Witt, and if Pasquantino comes back and can produce, I know he was on the shelf with his shoulder, I think, shoulder or elbow.
Yeah, he was a big loss for them. I mean, not that team was going to
yeah.
necessarily, light the world on fire, but they certainly
No,
would have been
but
better
they
with
do
him.
have some. Yeah, they have some young talent there, but they're not ready to compete at all. And then the Tigers are the Tigers. As long as they're paying Javi Baez and he's still on that roster, the Tigers will go nowhere.
Well, check the final standings there, Nicholas.
Yeah, what were they? Third?
Yeah.
Second?
Yeah.
They finished second or
Yeah,
third?
I looked at that.
They might
I looked at that the other day. I'm like, really?
really?
They had the same record as the Red Sox.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Detroit finished second in the division at 78 and 84,
Second.
same record as the Red Sox.
Wow, the Yankees. I mean, we almost could have been playoff teams if we played in another division.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Detroit finished. They finished. 11 games out in the wild card. They're 78 and 84. Cleveland was 76 and 86.
So I hope with
Yeah.
the expansion they go back to kind of that old school AL East, AL West. The big divisions. They do away with this little Central, all these smaller divisions.
See, I think they're going to go opposite.
I think they'll go like NFL. You have the 4.
You have Northeast, West, South. That's what I think they're going to do.
Do you think you're going to see like NL teams move to the AL now that the DH is universal at this point with the new teams?
It wouldn't shock me if you this would be the time to do it. If you're bringing in 2 expansion teams, it would be the time to literally geographically division off these guys.
Yep.
But, however, the other point of that is the balanced schedule.
Right.
Like you have the balanced schedule. So, like, do divisions really matter at this point? Like maybe you do just, if you're going to go to 8 playoff teams, maybe you do just do an East and a West, because it's not going to matter.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
But it depends. If you split it into 4, now you have 4 division winners and 4 wild card spots. So the top 2 from, or whatever, the top 1 from each division
Right.
in your league goes to the playoffs and you have 4 wild card spots. So the
Hey.
best 4 records get in.
So technically, with that theory, you could take an entire division.
Yeah, literally.
In theory.
Yep. Which we almost had the whole AL
Right.
East in there at one point.
Right.
I mean, crazy. But I think they'll do something like that, of that nature. It's the only thing that really makes sense to me. Because, like Harrison and I were talking a little bit before we hopped on,
Right.
the owners are going to have something to say about this layoff.
Yeah.
You don't even get this much of a layoff for the All-Star break,
Right.
right? They're going to have something to say about it. It's like, listen, especially if the Braves lose, it's like we've won 100 games 2 years in a row, and we've got bounced because we had a 6-day layoff before our first playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, if
Our guys aren't used to a
if
week
your
off.
3 100-win teams combined to win 1 playoff game, that is not a coincidence.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
A week is way too much time.
It is. It's entirely too much. And
You take them out of their routine that they've been in since
you
mid-February.
suck any momentum
right?
they had away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these guys get 3 warm-up games. Some, all of them, well, only 2 because, wild card was all 2-game sweeps. But still, they're still playing. They're not losing their timing.
Right.
They're not losing their routine. And these guys are asked to, like, hey, come to the ballpark. We're having an inter-squad scrimmage, but, like, you got to go to the visitors' dugout. And this, it's just
Everything's different.
the whole thing looks different. Yeah.
Well, that, and then you got weather that could play a factor into like raining out games. You could have like,
Right.
it's fall time. Weather starts to become a major factor. It's just like we got lucky that we didn't have any real rainouts or anything through that first round of the playoffs or any of that other stuff.
Well, and I
Yeah,
look at it too,
agreed.
like you look at the Orioles. Here's a young team with no playoff experience, and they had to go sit around for 5 days and like get ready for it. What is that doing for them?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of stumbled a little bit down the stretch, anyways. But it's still a momentum killer. It still takes you out of your routine and all that stuff. So I agree. They got to fix it somehow. I don't know how they fix it or what they do to fix it, but it's just too long of a layoff.
Yeah, so here we are. This is this will be the Dodgers' third game. We'll see if they show some better signs of life.
Lance Lynn versus Brandon Pfaadt.
Yeah, it's not a banner pitching matchup.
No, but I mean, Pfaadt can come out and dominate. I mean,
he's got good stuff.
The first half of the season, he didn't do too hot. They sent him back down to AAA, and then he came back and he, made some adjustments, and he's been all right. He's got good stuff if he's on. So it helps him that he's at home too. I think that's huge. Trying to pitch him in LA would be way different. But
yes.
Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen, if they're on, it literally could be. I'm not saying that they're this caliber picture because they're not yet. But you have Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling that completely carried that team through the World Series to beat the Yankees in 0-1.
They're pretty good 1-2 punch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Zach Gallen, like I said, was in the NL Cy Young conversation for a while there. Kind of fell off a little bit. But, I mean, they're two great starters, and they've given you two great starts in a tough environment in LA. So, that could help them.
So
it gets them deeper. They don't have to use their bullpen, all that stuff.
So I hate. Let's just say what things that Craig hates. I hate the in-inning interview for the players. I know he's a DH, but I don't like that in the middle of a game. In the preseason, it's one thing, or in like Sunday Night Baseball, they got them mic'd up or something. But I don't like it that in the middle of a game.
Yeah, let's watch the game here, folks. We don't need to hear about his at bat.
Right.
I don't know. I'm fine with it. I don't care. I mean, it's like a minute long. They're like, hey, take us through that last at bat. What were you thinking? Oh, I laid off the slider. He threw me a fastball up and in. I turned on it and hit it 5,000.
I hit straight ball very far. Curveball, not so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I mean, like, we've ragged on the MLB for not getting their players out there, right? They don't market their players like they should. Like, you look at commercials, you see Patrick Mahomes and Travis Maotto out there all the time, and like you see those commercials with football players, basketball players. Like, you don't see it with baseball players.
No, you do with Ohtani now with New Balance, though. My God, that stuff's everywhere.
Yes.
Holy cow.
That's why he's going to Boston. But I just think that's like, we've ragged on the MLB for not putting their players out there. And now that they finally are, like, that helps. Like an in between inning interview, it helps. Be like, oh, that's who Julian is. Or, hey, that's who Rocco Baldelli is. Like, the average fan can't put a face to the name.
Right.
So this is a way to get their product out as well. So, I mean,
I get it. I'm just a purist when it comes to baseball and stuff.
I get it. Yeah. No, I mean, I understand both sides of the coin.
No, I do too.
But
it just irks me, playoff game, that you're doing it like that in the middle of.
I mean,
it would be one thing if the batter was coming up and we're waiting that extra time to do the interview, but when we're in between the pitch sequence, I don't want to see that.
Right. Talk about the at bat that's going on.
Correct.
Yeah, we got a game going on. Let's it's one thing with football, you get like all kinds of stoppages, like between plays and all that stuff, but they're throwing pitches, and this guy's asking about this guy's at bat from last inning.
Yeah. Royce Lewis's throwing motion from third is so
weird. Awkward.
He's so over the
and he's
top.
So like herky jerky too. Like, there's nothing smooth about it.
No. All right, 3-9.
Speaking of endorsements, I'm watching a commercial for KFC with Deion Sanders on it.
Oh, I didn't get that because I'm watching. Is that a stream thing, or is that a?
Yeah, I'm streaming it.
Okay.
All right. Brandon Fott's got almost a 6 ERA, so I'm feeling good about this start.
Yeah.
He's due. He's
Oh, it's like
due.
like I said, it's not a banner matchup. I mean, it's
All right, so I'll take it back. After Will Smith, so your first 5 batters are serviceable.
yeah. And then after that lineup
But look at
falls
this:
off a
0
cliff.
for 7 bets, 1 for 6 Freeman, 2 for 6 Martinez, 1 for 7 Muncy. Like they're top of the lineup's not producing.
I like
and
Martin.
1 for 7 for Muncie is normal. I mean, that dude's a
Yeah.
dude's a 200
Well,
hitter.
But in the playoffs, he's not usually.
No, that's
He's
true.
usually the guy that's carrying
That's
them.
true.
But I mean, to end your lineup with Hayward, Kike Hernandez, and I don't even know
Well,
the last
Hayward's
name.
a black
It
hole.
just
Is it Rojas?
Yeah,
Is
now-
Rojas
yeah.
in the 9 spot?
Rojas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
See,
you.
those are all big
Yeah.
names a few years ago down at the bottom of the lineup. You know, like guys.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
Hayward's a black hole.
Yeah.
I just
I mean, he's out there defensively.
That's it. He's
the only
a
reason
glove
he
and an occasional bat.
I don't know.
I'm just not a Dodgers fan. I just can't stand them.
Same.
But yeah,
Stupid.
I've never really cared for the Dodgers, and
Their fans are stupid.
Their ballpark's stupid.
Thank you. I was gonna go with
Their name's
well,
stupid.
it's the whole LA thing too. Like that ballpark is empty till the 3rd inning. It's empty again in
Right.
the 8th inning. Like nobody out there really cares, but they at least show up. It's not like they're in Tampa where nobody shows up at all.
right.
Dude, that's just
But
another
like
whole
you know,
scenario.
Chavez
That's
Ravine
dope,
is
too.
empty until the 3rd inning. That people are gone by the 8th. You know, it's more about being there to be seen. But that's LA. LA is
Yeah.
just a different world, man.
No, it is. It's like they blame traffic or whatever, but it ain't the case.
Yeah, it's just LA. It's a different world out there.
They don't have any problems showing up in time for tip off for the Lakers games.
No, it's true, but that's like that literally is like a who's who though. If you're not there, you're not cool.
Right.
But the Clippers games, you can walk up and buy seats.
Right.
on the court.
Right. On the bench, maybe even
Yeah, for $5.
depending on the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Down.
All right, there we go. Back in the count now. Let's
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm-
What do we got? 3-2, bottom 7 here, and Twins and Astros. Oh, it's a heck of a cut by Correa.
Yeah, that was a big daddy hack.
Yeah, dude. I just don't know. But yeah, I got that sick Marlins pullover today, dude.
Oh,
That's
did you?
awesome.
Yeah, so this is crazy. So I work at my new school.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to this guy in the hallway that's a substitute teacher, and we're talking baseball, like, of course. I was talking with a gym teacher, and he goes, "Oh, my father-in-law was around the game for a while." And I go, "Oh, really? Like, who's your father-in-law?" He's like, "Jack McKeon."
No way, really?
Trader Jack.
And I go, "Yeah." And I go, "What?" I was like, "That's crazy, man." So he's just telling me like all these stories and stuff. And he had like a Marlins pullover that was too big for him. So he brought it to me for school today. I was like, it's sick.
Oh, lucky.
It's awesome.
Is it
Yeah.
like the new? It's the older style, right?
It's like in between.
Okay.
So it's the orange M with the fish
Yeah,
on
'cause
the left side.
McKeon was there for the 03 championship, right?
Yeah. And I just found out
Oh,
today.
Freeman just got
he was
robbed. That was a good catch.
Yeah. I just found out today that McKeon just stopped working with the Nationals last year. So like he was in the front office.
Yeah, he
and
was like
stuff with
a advisor or assistant to the GM or something, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Basically meaning
So
they're
it was
paying
pretty
him
cool.
to bring his knowledge to the meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. Really cool. So yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. But
So Mookie and Freddie go 0 for 2 to start this game off.
yep. And then JD Martinez with a pop out. Let's go.
All right, that's a quick inning. I like it. Was it a
Stay
7
in
pitch
play.
inning?
Nice. 6, 7, yeah. Let's go. Love that.
I love that for him.
You're out of the inning in 7
And-
pitches.
Yeah, didn't even break a sweat yet.
Nope.
And again, I'm biased, but these D-backs uniforms are sick.
They are.
I love the teal accent on them. They're so
Yeah, at
good.
first I was like, "What are these?" And then I saw like the full shot. I'm like, "Oh, all right, these aren't so bad."
Yeah, I like them. They've always had pretty good uniforms.
I love all like the darks and the purples they mix in, like all those dark colors.
Yeah. Mhm.
Just
Then
different.
the Johnson and Schilling ones, the pinstripes,
Yeah, those are
the
sick.
teal purple,
With the
yeah,
the
those are
sleeveless
good.
jersey over the shirt.
Yeah,
Those are
Those
sick.
don't give me
Mhm.
nightmares.
the Luis Gonzalez.
What 2001 was a problem?
It was a little bit of a problem.
Okay, so what was worse, 2001 or 2004?
Yeah, they both don't exist in my mind, but
Yeah,
Well, they do in ours.
they definitely do in ours.
Yeah.
I would say honestly, 04 was worse just because I was in a worse place in life personally, and that was one of the worst months of my life. But then the whole comeback thing was even worse, and then have to deal with the whole winter afterwards of the Red Sox fans. I think 04 was worse for Craig.
Because we were as obnoxious as we could be because we finally had something. We finally had a claim.
And then you got that Bronson Arroyo came out with his album, and then like,
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
and everybody had the ring to Messi, and it was just all.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're all shipping up to
That's right.
Boston, and oh
Yeah.
my goodness, yeah,
Yeah, 04 was definitely worse for Craig.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had our chances to win it in 01, and it was what it was, and it was just a tough team and some defensive choices, and I don't know. Jeter should have been playing his normal position.
Oh, you think he should have been back?
I think he should have been back.
Oh, and on the Gonzalez bloop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's playing his normal shortstop position, that's an out.
Yeah, the infield in
Yeah.
thing sometimes I get the. I mean, being a purist and a strategist myself, like, I get the reasons for it, but there are times you look at a guy and go,
Nope.
it's just he's not the guy to play that with. Like, this is not the situation. This is not the batter who's likely to hit the slow dribbler. Like, Gonzalez is going to get it up in the air. He's a professional hitter, so get back.
How many outs were there at that point?
Only
2.
one, right? Or was it 1 or 2?
I think it was 2, if I remember correctly. I might be remembering.
See, I can't imagine they would have played in with 2 though.
Maybe there was just 1.
I think it was only 1 out.
Maybe you're right.
But even then, if there's 1 out, there was a man on first, right?
Yeah, there was a man on first.
There's a
Yeah, so they had the middle infielders. I want to say were they weren't all the way in. They were like mid depth, but they weren't back where they'd be
They're
in double
halfway.
play depth.
I think Jeter was on the grass. I wish we could Joe Rogan it.
I say 2001 was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and I could be remembering it wrong, but in my brain,
Oh, let's go look.
I had Jeter on the.
that's what I was trying to find too.
It's just kind of like one of those.
I'm
like,
pulling it up on YouTube.
softball.
Hold, please.
Yeah. In my mind, it's softball.
No.
Just Jeter could have. He was in, and
Yeah. It was a bases loaded bloop,
oh, was it?
but I don't know how many outs. If there's no outs, you got to pull the infield in because a double play doesn't.
Yeah, I want to say
obviously.
I want to say it was either 0 or 1. I feel like it was 1.
I think there was at least one. For some reason I thought there might have been.
I can't see this.
If there's 2 outs, there's no reason. To
Yeah,
play
no.
in.
Jeter was like a step off the grass.
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I correctly then.
Yeah, there was no outs. They had to play
No
for the
outs.
play.
They had to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just cringe every time I think it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's one of those like perfectly dropped in bloopers given the situation.
Yeah.
And honestly, like 01, 03, 04, like Rivera had a rough playoff stretch there for several
Missed
years.
it.
He had some big ones.
But there's still more people who have walked on the moon technically than have scored on Mariano Rivera.
That is true.
I mean, it's the same guys who have scored on him, but
Yep.
more people walked on the moon than have scored on him than in the playoffs.
Yeah, because Todd Walker owned Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
Owned him.
Yeah.
Well, like you look in the 04 series against the Red Sox, like he gave up that huge hit to Billy Miller to win that game.
Yep.
The Red Sox, he always struggled against the Red Sox. The Red Sox, for whatever reason, did better against him than most.
Well, they played each other 19 times.
Exactly.
I mean, that's too much to be playing one team.
It is a lot. They saw him a good dozen times a year.
It's now down to 13, right? It's like 13 divisional games.
I think so. Which seems like the way it should be.
Yeah, 13 or 14.
Dang. 2 6-pitch innings right
Yeah,
here, right off the
quick
top.
Lance Lynn looks like he got like picked up in front of labor ready. Like the kind of the nasty gray beard and he looks like he does not look like a professional baseball player.
Duran's in for the Twins right now.
Oh, he's so good.
In the 8th.
That guy throws absolute gas, and then he breaks off an 86-mile-per-hour curveball, and you're like, "That's not fair, dude. Take it back."
Then he has that splitter in his back.
Oh,
pocket,
that's right,
too.
the splitter. Yeah, which is even better.
It's crazy.
The guy comes at you at a hundo and then drops in some 80-mile-per-hour off-speed stuff on you.
103. I can't even imagine what 103 looks like at the plate.
Nope.
I mean, I'm not going to see it, but God, man.
I've never seen a pitch in my life that was over 100.
You watch Batista.
No, sorry. Like when I was in the batter's box, like facing somebody.
Oh, yeah. No. I think the hardest I've ever seen in the batter's box personally was 95, 96. That was Mark Rogers. He was a freshman in high school.
Oh, yeah. He was nasty. I faced Mark Rogers in tournament. I also faced Jeffrey Allison from Peabody, who threw 99 as a lefty.
God.
He was a 5th overall pick and then got into drugs and kind of flamed out of baseball. But he was a left-hander through 99.
That's scary.
Did you just swing at 3 pitches and just hope to hit one?
Kind of, yeah. You just,
yeah.
I mean, like you think the sizzle and pop of 90 is something. You got to hear it at 98, 99. It's crazy.
Is it?
How does a high school catcher even catch?
I don't know. I was 17 when I faced him, and he threw absolute freaking gas.
Dude, my high school catchers couldn't even catch me, and I topped out at like 73. It's like,
yeah, I didn't strike out against him. I'm pretty sure I grounded out, but he absolutely threw cheddar.
For you. Yeah,
and then
my at bats against Mark Rogers was not very
yeah.
good.
And then do you remember Rich Gale, the former pitching coach of the Red Sox?
Yes.
I played with his kids because they were from Durham, New Hampshire.
Yep.
So Chris and Andy Gale was a year or two younger than me. Chris was 2 years older than me. Chris pitched at Virginia. Andy pitched at Florida. Andy was throwing 95 at 15. I mean, we used to face him. We used to face him in the Babe Ruth and AAU tournaments all the time. Thankfully, we hit him really well because we saw him so often. But yeah, 95 miles per hour at 15.
Yeah, Mark Rogers at 14. We met him in the second round of the Southern Maine playoffs. He throws me fastball, didn't see it. Second one, I foul straight back, which was my biggest mistake because I was on it. I just fouled it straight back. And he throws me a curveball that starts behind my body. I bail on it and just spin and just keep walking towards the dugout because I knew it was coming back over the plate.
Yeah.
And it was just, and I was like, yeah.
The cool thing about those guys that threw hard is if you touched it, it was gone with a metal bat. Touch it, it was gone.
Especially when they didn't have these BB core ones. They had the ones that had like the dual wall. And if you just got a little bit of that second wall, dude, that ball was going 400 feet.
Yeah, I hit a home run off of Andy Gale in Keene, New Hampshire that went 3 rows deep in the parking lot and broke a window.
Awesome.
At literally fastball letter high, 95 miles an hour. And it's one of those, just touch it and it's gone. Just reach out and touch it.
I think they should ban those aluminum bats. I don't like them. I never liked them.
I mean, when you get to, I traveled for AAU ball all over the country, and we get into tournaments, and I'd be at third base, and I'd have a guy hit a line drive at me that I could have sworn it was exit velo was like 110. It was a missile.
Those things, some of those bats before the BB core were rocket.
It was scary.
Yeah, those Omaha Golds, baby.
Oh, those were money. Remember the Copperheads?
Yep.
The Worth Copperheads.
The Copperheads were
best
insane,
bat of all time.
Dude, the Easton Connections, the 777s, those things too.
You'll appreciate that as a former third baseman, Nick. But I was down in Wide World of Sports in Orlando in a national tournament playing against a team from Lakeland, Florida. Kid hit a one hopper to me at third. And one of those like in between hops. So I just kind of like drop and knock it down. Thing hit me hit me just above like my belly button. Yep. I had a bruise that was like the size of a friggin' cantaloupe. It hurt like hell.
It said Rawlings.
Literally, I mean, it was worse than getting hit by a pitch because he hit the thing so hard.
Yeah. So
couldn't even see it coming.
My worst game defensively ever. Like I was a pretty solid defensive third baseman in my day. We were playing Savannah College Art and Design. Louis Tiant was the manager of this team. And they were just full of left-handed kids that would just bunt and get down the line in about 3 seconds flat. So like I'm a step in on the grass and the leadoff hitter. He drops a bunt down in front of me. I field it cleanly, throw, safe.
Yep.
So coach is like, move a step closer. I move a step closer. Next kid drops another bunt. I go in, field it cleanly, throw, safe. I'm like, what is going on? Third guy gets up and it's a righty. And coach goes, stay right there. I'm literally at this point 50 feet away from home plate. And the kid rips a screamer past my ear. And I'm like, white flag, take me out. I'm done. I can't. No, I'm all set with this.
Oh, God.
But, man, 13 pitches, 2 outs in the second. Let's go. Hayward up. Getting through those top 5 is huge.
Yeah, I used to play a kid in Legion. His name was Austin. I can't remember his last name. He went to the University of Memphis on a baseball scholarship, but he was one of those leadoff guys that would drop a bunt down, and the next at bat hit like a missile into left.
Oh, wow.
So like as a third baseman, you're like, okay, I'm going to play him in. Then he hit a rocket at you. I'm going to play him back. He drop a bunt down. It's like, okay, stop.
Yep.
Enough is enough.
Yeah. No, thanks. I'm all set with this.
See,
This isn't fun anymore.
That's the thing that I wish more major leaguers would have done with the shift. If they shift you, just bunt it down third, down the line and run. I know it's not the pride thing. I want to hit, but when you look back at the hits, you look back, it's going to still show that a hit is a hit. It's like.
Well, that was like the couple of times that David Ortiz would like drop a bunt down the third baseline and just like walk to first.
Yeah,
I mean it's doable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not sexy.
No, I get it.
It doesn't give me that multi-million-dollar contract.
You don't want David Ortiz bunting, no. But in their situation, if they're going to give it to you late in the game, close score, take it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I mean, I would.
That's
what are we? Let's
huge
going
for him.
Oh, I see. Hayward.
Added end of 2, and he's under 20 pitches.
Yeah,
let's go.
Dude's not even sweating yet.
No.
Love it. Absolutely love that. What do we got? We still got 3-2 in this one.
3-2. Yeah, they're in the bottom of the start. About to start the bottom of the 8th.
6 outs.
3-2. I've been watching that one.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth. I'm not doing a very good job though, because I feel like I'm catching the breaks all wrong here.
Yeah, I flip in between commercial break and flip back, but it's like it's one commercial break to the next commercial break. It seems like when I do that. So
yeah, I got the D-backs on the projector and the Twins on my phone. So
all right, so if we end up with so say the D-backs win, do we like them against the Phillies or do we like them against the Braves?
No.
No. I don't think they beat either team, honestly. But
I didn't.
And that's what I mean by my answer.
I don't think anybody
no.
thought they beat the Dodgers either, and here we are up 2-0.
Fair.
Although I will say the Dodgers' track
can...
record in the playoffs is a lot worse, so there's that.
Man, that Phillies team is just so hot, and they're so dangerous.
They are.
And Trey Turner is back to his form. He went deep again tonight too. So it's like,
as a D-backs fan, Nick, as a newly minted D-backs fan this year, do you want the Phillies or do you want the Braves?
Honestly, at this moment, I would take the Braves because they don't have the pitching.
They don't, and the injuries for them have really piled up.
I would roll the dice with the Braves over the Phillies just from the pitching start.
Because
the pitching
with Gallen and Merrill Kelly, you at least feel like you got a shot.
Yep.
Oh, check this out. So this is Beth Rose. So this is Jim Rose, who he had on. He was the trainer for the Red Sox back in 2004 when they won the series. She's got a little insight for us. So hoping the D-backs win for Hazen, who Jim predicts will be the next Sox GM. And all right, little insight there. Thank you, Beth. That's
didn't
awesome.
the Red Sox try to make Hazen the GM before he went to the D-backs?
I have no idea. That would be a Beth and Jim question for sure.
I think he interviewed.
Well, he came from the Red Sox organization, wasn't he? With Theo?
He might be under the Theo tree. I don't really remember.
Hang on.
But yeah,
Hey, when did Buxton come back?
Today.
today.
Well, he's on the on deck.
So yeah, the MLB reinstated his roster spot because Kirilloff was injured, which they can do if there's an injury. Then MLB can reinstate a player to put on the roster, and I guess Buxton was ready to come back today.
He's one of my favorite.
I thought he was going to be in the
when he's healthy.
Yeah, this is the question of the century right here, Beth.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we've talked about this numerous times of why they let Mookie go. Like, that one hurts to the core.
I'm kind of glad
we've talked about it before.
Personal, but I mean,
well, that's because you're a Yankees fan.
As a Red Sox fan, yeah, I don't understand why. As not a Red Sox fan, I mean, but if I was a Red Sox fan, I'd be pissed. The move didn't make sense to me, but I'm just happy to see him go.
Okay. So Hazen,
quote unquote Yankee fan.
Hazen came to the Red Sox as director of player development in February 2006. He was then vice president of player development in 2011. He was promoted to VP and assistant GM under Ben Cherington in 2012. He was senior vice president, assistant GM in 2015. On September 23rd, 2015, Hazen was named general manager by the Red Sox. President of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski. He left a year later to go to the Diamondbacks.
Gotcha.
So he was the GM under Dombrowski, and then he left a year later. So Hazen has already been the Red Sox GM. He was with the Red Sox for almost 10 years.
Oh, dang, just short. Good swing, Walker.
So yeah, so I had heard a lot about Hazen because I thought he wanted to return to Boston, but apparently he didn't leave under great terms because of how it went down with Dombrowski, because he did not like working for Dombrowski or the ownership group.
Yeah.
Well, I could see why working with that ownership group would be.
Well, and it was a different organization when Dombrowski was here. They were go for broke, and they did, and then he left the team with nothing.
Yeah, but it's still a pain in the ass organization to work with. They are so.
Yeah.
However, the wind is blowing this week is how we're going to make our moves.
Yeah, no, it's true. They've changed direction, and then they fired Chaim Bloom because of it. Now they're going to change direction again.
So Bloom didn't deal Mookie away, right? He started in 2019. And Mookie
Chaim's first move was trading Mookie.
Was that at the deadline or
no off season?
That's right.
So it was that was Chaim's very first move. He was told to either sign him or trade him, and he couldn't sign him, so he traded him.
Well,
they offered him 10 years, 300. Mookie said no. They said okay, see ya.
Well, I don't think Mookie likes the cold either.
He was wishy-washy.
That's not what Mookie said.
He was wishy-washy.
Mookie said he wanted to stay in Boston.
Well, no, he said he wanted to get paid, and if that was Boston, great. If it wasn't, so be it.
Wow.
Yeah, and
10 years at $300 million is getting paid.
Yeah, Hazen is a Boston boy too, as she's pointing out.
Yeah,
he's from Weymouth or Weymouth maybe.
Yeah. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Weymouth, Mass. He grew up in Abington, so he's a Mass boy.
Okay.
Nice. So maybe he does come back.
It'd be cool. I mean, he was a big part of that team, a big part of that front office as they were building.
Yeah. All right, Beth, this is a question for you then. What do the Red Sox need to do in the offseason other than obviously?
Let's just send Beth the link. She can come on and tell us what she knows.
Yeah, right. What do the Red Sox need? Do they, other than the GM, obviously, what do they need on the field to compete next year? What do you guys feel like they need?
They need pitching. They're pitching, and defense.
Yeah, defense was hard to watch this year for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you look around the diamond, you're good at shortstop, you're good at third base, you're good at first base. I would say catcher, you're good now because you've really seen some development there out of Wong. The pitching is atrocious. I should say the starting pitching is atrocious. The bullpen was better this year. The starters were awful. And the outfield is, I would say, largely figured out. The question is Verdugo still here in spring training? There seems to be some belief he's going to go.
The rumblings on that is very strange. Like the rumors out there, if they're true or not, but he didn't like the fact that he could have been moved at the deadline. I think that's the rumblings on it, right?
Yeah, the rumblings were that's why he and Chaim had that little powwow in the outfield like the day after the deadline. is that there was apparently there was a push from ownership to make a trade, and Heim kind of fought that, did not want to trade him, and that was part of what sounds like the unraveling of Heim's time. There is that there was clearly no direction
That's right.
or no alignment of direction.
Yep. Beth's got another good point. It's going to be interesting who the pitching coach is, who replaces Fables. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there
Yep.
too.
I will say, if the Yankees looking to fix their training staff, they should give Jim
All
a
right,
call.
There we go. Right? Yeah, Jim should come out of retirement.
Actually, no,
Look at the training staff.
don't go fix the Yankees. We like them right where they are.
Oh yeah,
don't
not,
go fix
not
the Yankees. Never mind, never mind.
Don't
Bad
go-
idea.
Jim would never do that
Yeah,
anyway.
that's true. Yeah, you can't. He couldn't do it.
Beth would be like this in the door.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, sorry, not
yeah.
going.
He's a Boston guy through and through.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Man, that interview was so much fun with him. Like that was one of our very first podcasts, and we had Jim on. And that
Yeah,
was,
that's what she said. He never would.
yeah, he never would. Yeah, absolutely, good man.
Love it.
But yeah, that was a blast to have him on and have him like relive some of the stories and like his like day-to-day operations in there. That was like, as the baseball nerds that we are, like it was
cool.
really cool to listen to.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, man. Yeah, the Red Sox need a lot of help. Definitely on the mound.
They need a whole new starting pitching staff. They
Let's go. Get to third base. Oh, he stopped. All right, first and second, two
all right, we can
outs.
work with that.
Yeah, I want them to take the Dodgers out.
I know.
so
I
bad.
I can't stand the Dodgers. I would love to see the Astros lose, but I just don't think the Twins can do it.
Yeah. But to go back to your original plan, or question, I don't want to see the Phillies. I would roll the dice with the Braves, I think, at this point.
Oh, this is interesting. So she's saying that they're good friends with the former head athletic trainer
Oh.
with the Yankees. What's going on out there?
Yeah. Give us a little insight.
Actually,
here.
it's probably not the training staff. They get them after they're hurt. It's probably the strength and conditioning people that are screwing them up.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jim had some run-ins with strength and conditioning people in his days, because when that doesn't go well, they end up in the training room.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do the Yankees need, Craig? Let's go there.
Oh,
Other than a whole
GM,
new front
coach,
office, right?
G-
On the field, what do the Yankees
guys that
need?
play
Like I
more than
said
100
earlier-
games.
like I said earlier,
Trade Volpe, trade Judge.
I don't blame Aaron Boone fully, because I mean we haven't had the team that we should have had all season. I mean, from the word go. I mean, we've had half of our team on the DL probably since April. But we need some starting pitching. We need some more infield help. We need infield help. Stanton needs to go.
Amen.
Yeah.
I would love to free up that cap, but nobody's going to take him that money.
Yeah, what do you do with him?
The Dodgers would. They keep taking the Red Sox cap money.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really know where to even start. It's such a mess. Like our minor league system is in shambles. We need a new GM. We could go another year with Boone, but I would say Boone is on a very short leash.
See, I thought he's been on that short lease for 3 years now, but that's just me.
Hal's not his dad though. It's like Hal's doing everything to be opposite of George.
Yeah, he is. He is not his father, that's for sure.
Like if it was George, he would have been fired 2 years ago.
He would have been
Yeah.
fired probably after the first year. George Steimer had no patience for not winning.
None.
Oh,
None.
that was a big pitch.
I don't really
Oh,
know.
Longoria.
But I
Yeah,
think
that
go out
was
and get
a good
Otani.
spot.
I really do think we go out and get Otani this year.
I don't know, man.
New York's a tough one for a guy like Otani. I mean, it'd be great for him. You want to talk about, chances for promotion and building your own endorsements and brand? Yeah, that's the place to go, but that is a brutal market.
You want to talk about someone that's going to chase Aaron Judge's record too?
Yeah. I mean, that would truly be a murderer's row. If we could keep Stanton on the field healthy and we could keep Judge on the field healthy, and heaven forbid we keep Otani healthy. And I don't like him pitching and hitting all the time. I don't like it. I don't
Well, you're not gonna have to worry about it next year. This is supposed to say socks for Ohtani for sure. All the reports out there, like all joking aside, is Boston's like all in.
They're gonna have.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, and I'm
that's why
sure
they
the
got rid
general
of Bloom.
manager. Oh wait, there isn't one.
Well, I think that's why they got rid of Bloom. Sean brought that up
Yeah.
the last week, the week before. He thinks that part of the reason they let Bloom go before the end of the season was so they could get first pick at a GM to come in and get ready to sign this guy. I mean, all of it kind of does. If he comes off the West Coast, I think he goes to Boston, to be honest. That's my view on it. New Balance headquarters is in Boston. That's his only endorsement right now, or that the one that's paying him big bucks.
I think signing. So if this guy gets signed to the contract, I think he's going to get 10 years, $500 million, whatever it is. That will absolutely wreck an organization for the time he's there. You can't
see. I disagree.
You can't commit that much money to one guy.
But with the farm system that we have right now, and the amount of young guys we have on this roster, it might give us enough time. To be fine.
I look at the teams that have signed those huge contract players. Angels with Trout. Yankees. I mean, they don't win. They just, look at the Mets this year. Sign everybody, blow up. Padres, sign everybody, blow up. These teams. Look at the teams that are still in the playoffs now. They just don't.
Well, and that's
you're not talking like even Freddie Freeman didn't sign a massive contract.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Beth makes another good point. Only problem is Boston doesn't sign for more than 6 years.
But if you bring in a different GM, maybe they're going to throw those rules to the wind. But she's right. The Red Sox do not like, and I don't blame them. Beyond 6 years is a crapshoot is what you're going to get. That's like Bogart's an 11-year contract. He's going to be 41 years old when that contract ends. He's going to be junk.
That contract is silly.
He's going to be junk.
I don't get that.
He wasn't even that good this year.
No, but Devers makes sense to extend him for the 10 years.
He's 27 years old, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did they extend him?
Owner's decision. That's what Beth says, owner. What did you say, Craig? Sorry.
I said, did they extend Devers for 10 years?
Yeah, right? It was 10 years, right?
Yeah, wasn't he 10? Hang on, I'm looking sure. I'm pretty sure it was a 10-year deal.
Yeah, me too.
See, I don't think it's
through the 2033 season. So
11 years.
10 years.
11-year, $331 million extension.
Yeah.
So it runs through 2033. So it included 2023 was part of it. They basically redid his contract.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think they have enough young guys, and it's just you're just signing one player. Like, yes, that's a lot of money to designate to one player, but I mean, it's Shohei Ohtani. Spin it. Let's go. Sorry.
Right as they're talking to Dave Roberts, they're going to roll one up. I love it.
You have Marcelo Mayer coming up. Tristan Cassis is young. Jarren Duran is young. Like, I think it comes down to how much faith do you have in these young guys to stay and maintain a high level of baseball.
Yeah.
And then you bring in somebody like Ohtani with his work ethic, with his talent, and you put him behind Devers in the lineup or in front of Devers, whatever you want to do. I mean,
where's the pitching come from if you commit that kind of money to one guy?
Yeah.
Like, where do you go find the pitching?
Well, that's a fair point. That's a very fair
because between Devers and Ohtani, you could have $80 million in two guys.
Yeah.
Like,
where's Stephen Wright? Bring the knuckleball back.
Oh man.
Where's that? Go out and get that kid from San Diego that throws a knuckle.
And I will be really curious who ends up in that Red Sox GM spot, because people interviewing for that job are going to look at what just happened and be like, okay, like, what's really going on behind the scenes here? Because this guy did what you asked him to do, and then you canned him anyways. So if I'm a GM, I'm coming in saying, I'm not taking this job unless I can actually run this show. I'm not going to do what Heim did.
Will never allow it because they're so like a sail to the wind wherever the wind is blowing.
And that's what scares me is when you look at that job, what GM on the planet is going to be like, yeah, I want that gig. I wouldn't.
I mean,
I'd take
dream job to be.
Jesus, well, yeah, Nick. But like, these established GMs, why would they leave where they are to come to this hot mess of a front office? And you got a manager in Alex Cora who's basically like telling people how it's going to be, and like it's a mess. Like this organization is a hot mess.
Yep.
Yeah,
And the problem
that
they have
interview at the deadline was
for
not good.
years, and they just have had success in 04 and all those other years. But the years that like when they weren't winning World Series, your team was a dumpster fire.
Oh yeah, that was the fried chicken and beer years. It was, I mean,
Oh,
all
yeah.
kinds of stuff.
The Manny being Manny Man, Annie Grant.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
on.
this year you
No
had
one's
you
gonna
had
manage
Cora getting, calling out players and basically calling out the front office,
Yeah.
and it is a dumpster fire. It is a dumpster fire, and this ownership group is kind of doing its thing, and they're hot on soccer 1 minute and Formula One the next, and they're about the Red Sox for another, and
But
it's tough.
to go back to Manny though, when we were talking with Jim, he said no one worked harder on his game than Manny Ramirez.
He was a machine.
Like
He was
like
one of the
on the
best hitters
field
in baseball at the time. But he
Yeah.
was an asshole, and he was an asshole to deal with, and he caused more problems. He could be the hardest working baseball player between the lines, but he was the biggest pain in the ass from the outside looking in that I could ever see. Like, I don't know.
he's the Red Sox Brad Marchand. Like you love him on your
Yeah.
team, but you
Well,
hate
and
it playing
The
against him.
best thing the Red Sox ever did was bring David Ortiz in because Ortiz was able to harness Manny a little bit. Like he was able to put his arm around him and be like, "Hey, dude, cut it out." Like they had that relationship where he was able to kind of get the best out of him.
Yep. Best agreeing. So we're striking the right chords here. But this point that she makes too, the whole sabermetrics part
Yes.
of baseball, I think, as a whole, not just the Red Sox, every team
It's
out there has completely, I wouldn't say destroy baseball, but it has made it hard to watch in some instances. Like we bring up the Jose Barrios thing with the Blue Jays against the Twins. He's the ace of your staff. You pay him $100 million to be the ace of your staff, and you yank him after 47
after the
pitches
first
because he
bump
gave up a
in the
leadoff
road.
walk.
Like it's
Like that.
That's dumb.
I mean, I think that's the Moneyball situation has definitely played a not so good look.
Well-
This is an instance where like technology is hurting baseball. Look at, I know we've been on the umpires nonstop, but ever since they put the rectangular box on TV, you've had couch umpires like myself that are like, "Oh, dude, you missed that by a half an inch, dude. How do you not get that?" Like,
ignore the fact
I
he was
can
going
tell-
99 miles per hour and moved 9 inches.
right, exactly. Like he doesn't have a box that he can see. Oh yeah, the ball went through the box.
Yeah,
That's a
strike.
strike. No, like that's not how it. So I think that's when technology has kind of hurt the game in that aspect.
With the box,
But
one thing that I have, you can see when an umpire, like with the box, I wouldn't say favors another team, but you can tell that some teams are getting calls that other teams don't get because it's the same pitch in the same location. It was a strike an inning and a half ago, but now it's a ball.
I think that's pitcher dependent.
Yeah.
To be
that
honest,
too.
like an umpire sees a ball differently from each pitcher, and he has to be as consistent as possible. But you're telling me Randy Johnson that comes out of this arm slot here, or Chris Sale that comes out of this arm slot here,
Yep.
and then you get somebody like Greg Maddux that throws from the right side straight over the top. That ball's going to look different coming into home
Totally.
plate. His view is going to change. But the whole sabermetrics thing was like you could literally have anybody get off the couch and almost be a manager. If they're good with people, they're good with players, they can be a manager because they're being told what to do in what situation instead of having a feel for the game.
Right.
Like, you don't see like the Dusty Bakers anymore. You don't see the old time managers anymore that have the feel for the game and will let their ace go if he's mowing people down.
Yeah.
Where these young guys are like just going out and getting them. Or Dave Roberts has these deep starters and he does a bullpen game for 3 games straight. Like, because that's what the metrics tell you. That's not
It is, and
that's not what baseball is. And I hate
there's there are so few front office people that are baseball people. So many of them are like Princeton economics degrees, and it's a bunch of money. What Moneyball did is it took away the the baseball instincts of the game and turned it into nothing more than a statistical problem. Like I'm going to take I'm going to create my algorithm, my formula, my math, and say I need this, and I'm going to piece that all together and make it work. Versus,
Get out, get legs, let's go.
what did I miss? Oh, is this Perdomo?
Para just went deep. Yeah, Perdomo, not Para.
Did it go?
Oh, it did. First row.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was
I'm still
the
watching.
number 9 hitter
Right.
takes you deep.
Sorry
that
to
hurts.
those that were watching. I'm gonna get excited.
Yeah,
when
no,
this
that's good.
happens
That's
with
good.
D-backs, But
But no, so
Um,
your baseball is now being run by a bunch of pencil pushing geeks versus baseball people. It's
Right.
being run by, Princeton and MIT grads versus guys that have actually been on a baseball field. And Mike Hazen's an interesting example because, he actually played baseball. He got drafted. He went through the minor leagues. He wasn't a great ball player, but he made it in. But he's got a baseball background. And that's where I think when you've got that background, you can make moves like bringing in Moreno and Gurriel because you can see how they play versus just look at a spreadsheet and go, they don't check the box. Because he's made some moves. We all went interesting that have worked out very well.
that could be honestly the best trade of the offseason.
It could be. And for the
Varsho
record,
those two.
Mike Hazen just signed an extension through 2028 last week. So I don't think he's coming to Boston.
Yeah, well,
Nope.
it was wishful thinking.
It was.
But yeah, I think you're good. Once Dusty Baker retires, who's the other guy I'm thinking of? There's another manager too that still has that like old baseball sense where like he still can feel the game,
Oh, yeah.
right? Astro hating aside, Dusty gets the analytics in his ear. I'm
Yeah, and
sure of it.
I don't think
And he still can feel the game.
Yeah.
He understands his players. He understands the field, what's going on in that particular moment, and he makes his call accordingly. And I think the Astros are fine with that because look what he's done since he's been.
Well, yeah, and I've been critical of Dusty Baker at times because I feel like he can be too kind of like go with the flow and what I see kind of thing versus looking at that's a terrible matchup, Dusty. Why are you going for it? But in many cases he's been
Let's
right.
go, Ketel Marte.
Dude, you must be like a second or two ahead because he's just hitting that ball.
Sorry.
So Houston
God
just
dang.
advanced.
Let's go.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
they
Dang,
robbed
Houston
Kapler
Astros.
of a ball, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, Astros and Rangers.
Yep. All tech.
I will be putting on my Rangers hat every single
Jesus,
game
yeah,
of that series. Let me tell you.
The Astros are who everybody wants to be. I'm just so tired of seeing them. I really am. And like we talked about, as Patriots fans, we lived it on the other side. It was amazing, but
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
was so tired of it.
Oh yeah.
It's same, Beth. Where I think everybody on the podcast is with you
Yeah,
here.
Texas all the way.
Praying
I am
for
the
Texas
biggest
for
Rangers
sure.
fan for the next week.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Look at all those iPads and stuff they got.
I know. Speaking of stats and what we're talking about, I mean, these guys are doing nothing but reading advanced stats
Well,
and
I
watching
mean-
replays.
See, I like that part
Yes.
of it.
Oh,
I mean,
I
like,
love-
yes, it's not old school baseball, but like a hitter can go back in the dugout after getting fooled on an 0-2 pitch in the dugout, and they can immediately go back and break down their at bat and be
Yeah.
like, okay, what pitch should I have hit and what count? And then like, what did I do on my swing that I can change?
One thing, like I think back to the days of Kurt Schilling, another guy who's an absolute jackass. But I used to think about he would come off the mound every inning. He'd go to the bench, he'd grab his notebook,
Yep.
and he'd make his notes from the inning. And he had volume after volume after volume of these notebooks. He had his own scouting reports on everybody.
Yep.
He knew what pitches from him they did and didn't hit.
Yeah.
And like that's what baseball players did. Like they had their own notes. That JD Martinez was a great example. Between at bats, he was watching video of his last at bat, like studying what he was doing. So I think in some ways, like technology's helped because Schilling had all these notebooks. He kept all of his notes in, whereas now these guys can get all this video feedback. But the game is played too much like computer simulation and less like it's really friggin' baseball.
Yeah. I hate that.
So do you think
But-
Schilling's a Hall of Famer?
No,
Really?
I don't. I don't think Schilling's a Hall of Famer. I think he's in the Hall of Very Good. I think he's in the Hall of Elite Postseason Pitchers. But I think the thing that keeps him out is that he was so damn unlikable that
Yeah.
nobody wants to see him in there.
We broke down his career stats. I don't during the off season or something like that. I think,
Yep.
and we were on the fence about it
Yep.
because like his career stats are good, but they're not like, I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. I don't know where I put him. I think either way, I'd be fine with it.
See,
I think-
If he's in, fine. If he's out, fine.
in my book, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a 2-time World Series, or maybe a 3-time World Series winner. At least 2. Sure.
Did he win with the Phillies?
I don't
I
think so.
can't remember.
Why is your arm in the air?
Let's go.
Oh wow,
Oh,
you're
no way. Is that Walker?
Christian Walker.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. 3 in an inning.
Wow.
Let's go, man.
LA,
Beth has,
LA just
you know
rage quit.
Rage quit.
so she's saying that's all Ortiz did is he went back to the clubhouse, reviewed films, and saw what pitchers were doing to him.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what these guys
find
do.
them. I don't think she meant to say find the bitch, but and know what to swing at. You knew it was
I
coming.
hope he wasn't swinging at her, but
That's why
Yeah.
I hate the DH, because you just have a guy who just sits there all day. I'm gonna go watch film.
you got one
Yeah.
job, dude.
I'm gonna eat a hot dog. I'm gonna get up. Okay, my guys are up. 3 innings later, I just swing the bat, sit back down. Okay. I don't like the DH.
Yeah.
Never did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, if he was on your team, you would have loved him, and you'd be like, "Oh, I love the DH."
Yeah,
No,
Schilling's
I-
got 3 World Series rings.
I've never liked it.
Did he get one with Philly?
Yeah, it was what? One with the Red Sox, one with
One with the Phillies, one with the
D-backs.
Diamondbacks.
It must have been the Phillies then.
Yeah.
So a 3-time winner should. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I know he's a.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I could make an argument, honestly, either way. With him.
200,
I think
216 and 146 with a 346 ERA career. I mean,
That's the. But if you're gonna let Harold Baines in the Hall,
Well,
then Kurt Schilling needs to.
and that's
go.
the hard part. Like now we play the game of, well, if you let that person, you got to let that person, and it just becomes this like roundabout. I mean, Schilling was one of the better pitchers of his era, but
Stay fair.
no way, not another one.
No.
Gabriel Moreno.
Oh!
Let's go.
Oh my God,
They
that
would
did hook
say
around the
it's foul.
did that hook around the pole.
God, 4 in 1 inning.
They're saying
Everybody's
that-
pointing foul.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to see a replay of that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go.
I mean, if you're Roberts, you have to put the headset on here.
Oh yeah.
Or is this automatically reviewable? Home runs, are they automatically reviewable?
I don't think so.
I think that
You still have to.
headset on. They're gonna put the headset on this one. They gotta get this one right.
Oh, Beth said Schill got 2 with us.
Was he with us in
So is
07?
he- So 07 and 13.
Oh, 4 and 07 then, right?
Oh, maybe it was 04 and 07.
Oh, he was on the 07 team.
Was he on the 04 team or was it 13?
No, he was definitely on the 04 team. He was part of the bloody
He was-
sock was in
Oh,
the blur.
yeah. 04 and 07. Okay, yeah.
In the comeback, because you had what was his name? Kevin Millar. You know, it's like then you get
Yeah.
Schilling, and then you get P, and then you get
That's right.
Sorry, we had so many championships during that time. I just, completely forgot.
Because that was the year
They
he
all
had
blur together.
that was the year he had the ketchup on his sock.
Well, and
Jim walked us through that, and it's not true.
in 07, like I think about Lowell and Ellsbury, like those guys were all big in that one. I don't think a Schill.
No,
Oh, dang it. It is
Just
foul.
missed. Does Arizona still have the hot tub and pool and stuff in center field?
They have the pool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a hot tub.
Yeah, it was
or not.
definitely foul. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I've never actually seen the replay booth before. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was-
it's
was
strange that they're
foul.
watching golf, but cool.
Yeah, right. Dang.
Yeah, it was definitely that wasn't even close. Like that was definitely foul.
All right. So Beth, we're talking about Schilling. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer? Yes or no? You don't have to give me details. Just say a yes or no answer, and we'll move on. But I don't know. I go back and forth on him because he was so dominant during that era.
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard.
no.
Oh, she says no.
Huh.
Okay,
Wow.
fair enough.
The one Yankee fans think she is.
Did he get it again? No way. Let's go.
Get out.
Get out of here.
No.
Hanging breaking ball, dude.
Oh,
See
you're
ya.
kidding. And he does it again anyways.
Oh wow.
You've got to, dude. The guy just hit 2 home runs.
That one was foul.
My God. We'll talk about going from high to low to high. I mean, my Lord.
Did the Dodgers have anybody up in the bullpen yet? Because
Yeah, they've got a couple people warming up, but Lance Lynn apparently is throwing BP.
he did.
Dude, let's go. This lineup is hot, man. They are scorching hot.
They are. It's
Who's
what happens when you play. You build momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, 4 home runs in an inning, and the dude had to do it twice, basically.
First team to do it ever.
That's hard to believe considering baseball's been around as long as it has.
I know. It's like,
We were talking about that a few weeks ago. Like they pull these stats out of like the most random places. You know, this is the first batter all time to have 7 hits on a Tuesday in the month of September when the sun was at this direction and it was 8 o'clock or later. It's like baseball's been around so long. Like, how do you still find the first time this has ever happened? Like, it just blows me
Right.
away.
Like, how quick do you have to find that too? On top of that,
Yeah, who sat
Like,
around figuring that one out? Like,
somebody in the production.
It's
booth
like,
is
oh,
yeah.
they're
Hey,
at 3.
yeah.
What
hey,
happens?
hey Siri, has
like
anybody
that?
hit 4 home runs in an inning? Like, who's fact checking all this stuff?
yeah, crazy. Yeah, nuts.
My
man.
Lord.
I love that. I love that start. Give me that.
4 solo home runs in an inning. Talk about earning it.
Yeah.
Love
Speaking
it.
of Schilling, remember that whole blow up
Yeah.
with like his video game studio and all the money he took from like Rhode Island, and that guy has done
Yeah,
so
that
many
was a
things
whole
to make
mess,
himself
too.
not likable.
Yeah, that I forgot about that aspect of him, but it doesn't take away the fact that he was his baseball skills for me.
No, I think he was one of the better pitchers of his era, but the media didn't like him. He was
Right.
he was highly unlikable, and because of that, they won't vote him in. And
I mean,
statistically,
Sean.
I would say he's on the fence for me. I don't think he's a
Yeah.
Hall of Famer. If he went in, would I be upset? No. But
I mean, Sean also brought up a good point too. Was like it seemed like every team he was on, he was the number 2. He was never
Always,
the ace.
yep. He was behind
You know,
Randy.
like
He was
pitch
behind Pedro.
Johnson, behind Pedro.
Yep.
Right.
Who's he behind
So
Philly then?
If
don't know.
Philly was a hodgepodge because they were good. They were good when he first got there. Then they weren't.
Huh.
He was the ace there for a while, but they were not good those years. And honestly, that probably hurts his numbers. Is that he was in Philadelphia for a lot of years when they were not very good.
yeah. Yeah, he was there for 9 seasons,
Yep.
92.
Yep.
And you look at it like he was 14-11, 16-7, 2-8, 7-5, 9-10. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, in 1996, he was 9-10 with a 3.19 ERA. He had 8 complete games. Could only win 9 games. I mean, it's like he was on some bad teams.
Yeah, I mean, Beth brings up this point, which we talked to Jim about, and he was pretty detailed about it. It was pretty cool because we asked him about
Yeah.
it, and just the fact that he pitched this game 6 with that ankle.
Oh yeah.
And then what he did.
I mean,
I mean, it was insane.
I mean, and Sean made the argument that based on his playoff performances, he should be. And there's a case to be made. In the playoffs, there were very few pitchers better than him.
yeah, you needed a big game, and he was on the hill. You were feeling pretty comfortable.
He didn't
Yep.
lose. Like, he didn't lose big games. You know, his
Yeah, he
regular
was that
season stats
ultimate-
would be kind of ho-hum, and then he'd be absolutely lights out for October.
Yep.
Yeah, that absolute bulldog you needed in that time.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough. Like I said, I'm on the
You
fence with it. It's fine either way.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way.
All right, 4-0 early.
Bonds.
Let's go.
And the roids.
Bonds should be in. Clemens should be in. All those guys need to be in.
Well, and
It was like I understand what they did was not legal, pure, whatever. But the fact that this is why I think they should be in. Bud Selig is in the Hall of Fame for that era of baseball.
Hmm.
Correct.
If he's in for that era of baseball, you can't tell me he didn't know what was going on.
Well, you can't tell
Baseball
me
was
that's a whole,
turning.
you know, like all the guys, like all the pitching coaches and everything that can just tell when a pitcher's tired because his arm drags just a little bit of a hair, in a different direction.
Yep.
And the fact that you got guys that are blowing up like balloons, you couldn't tell me that they didn't pick up on that. Everybody knew.
That's what I'm saying. It's like baseball was starting to fail, right? The money was starting to go away, viewership was starting to go down. McGwire and Sosa brought it back, and C League was kind of like this.
Oh, I mean, MLB was complicit in the steroid era. They knew what was going on. They didn't even commission the Mitchell report until years after this happened, because MLB needed the summer of '98 to happen. They needed baseball to. Baseball was on its last wind. They needed the home run race. They needed the numbers. They needed the ratings. They needed people to come back to the game. And I don't think MLB was like, "Hey guys, you start doping," but I think they were saying, "Hey guys, you shouldn't be doing this." Wink, 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 wink.
Right.
Because they needed it. Baseball needed that juice, and Bud Selig was happy to enjoy the ride as baseball came back from, it was recovering from '94. They needed the boost. They got the boost, and they took care of it later. But MLB was complicit in that. You can't hold that against the players doing what they're basically told to do without being told to do it.
Well, then,
that's my overall argument is if those guys aren't in, then Bud Selig shouldn't be in.
I don't disagree.
No, I agree.
And that's it.
And if those guys are, nobody from that era should be in. Andy Pettitte shouldn't be in. Like, you just go down the list. All these guys shouldn't be in because they were all at some point or another tied to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then tell me that like if you
had the greenies.
So what I was gonna go with is it's like the monkey complex, like monkey see, monkey do in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me that say Nick is juicing, and Nick just got the big contract.
Thanks.
Now you mean to tell me that I take this magic juice that's gonna make maybe make the ball go a little quicker or recover a little quicker, where I could I had warning track power, now I have home run power. I'm gonna make millions of extra dollars. Damn right, I'm gonna take it. Just like somebody was gonna give me a shot that's gonna say I'm gonna make $10,000 extra dollars at my regular job. I'm taking that shot.
Well, that's the thing. Like you see the summer of '98 and the attention that McGwire and Sosa got from that. Every player in baseball that next spring training was dropping their pants to get a shot in the butt. They were. Like, why wouldn't they? Like, these guys are doing it. Look what it did for them. Like, I'm in.
And absolutely, Pete Rose, Beth, I think her name is, should definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
Should what?
Pete Rose
should be in the Hall.
Yeah, I am 100%. So here's my stance on this. The Astros had the whole trash can scandal, and you had AJ Hinch gets banned for a year, and Cora gets banned for a year, and Beltran's been basically thrown out of baseball for it. Those guys came back. I think what they did is worse than what Pete Rose did, because they actually altered the outcome of games. Pete Rose was a degenerate gambler, and he bet on games. Okay, did he throw any games? I don't think you can. I don't think you can make that link.
Can of corn.
Yeah, he can run.
I think they would have by now.
But so to me, if you're going to let those Astros players potentially go scot-free here, I don't know how you hold Pete Rose to a different standard.
So this is the kicker for me too with this. I've been to the Hall of Fame 3 or 4 times. All of their stuff is in the Hall of Fame. Like, okay, not the Hall of Fame. It's in the museum part, but it's all underneath one roof.
Right.
You can go in. You can see all of Pete Rose's record-breaking stuff.
He's
you can
in the
see
Hall
the
of
uniform. Fame. You can see the bat. You can see his accomplishments on the wall. He's the all-time hit leader. You can see all of this stuff. But that's most likely true, Beth.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, to this point, MLB's shown no reason why Pete Rose shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Now, if there's more,
but there is a reason. There's more.
But that's the thing. If there's more to the story, then tell us. But at this point, like, you're holding a guy to a different standard than everybody else based on what we know. You give Alex Cora. Alex Cora should have been banned from baseball. That's my opinion. Alex Cora should never set foot on the MLB diamond ever again. I'm sorry. AJ Hinch shouldn't either. They shouldn't. And I was very adamant back when that news broke and Cora was the manager of the Red Sox. He should be fired and banned from baseball because he directly changed the outcome of games, championships, World Series. He directly changed the outcome of games. That to me is the biggest sin you can commit in baseball. The guy got a 1-year slap on the wrist and he's back managing a baseball club. He should not be in baseball. Period. End of story.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, and if you're gonna keep somebody out of the Hall for
And I will
gambling, not
never
changing
like
up.
Alex Cora. I will never believe he should be in baseball ever again because of what he did. I know he's the Red Sox manager. I don't like him. I don't care for him. I wish they would get rid of him, but I can't fix that because I believe what he did is the biggest sin you can commit in baseball.
Even more so than like the iWatch scandal and all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff was stupid and silly.
Yeah.
What-
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Beth. There's got to be more.
Yeah,
to
there has
that,
to be.
Right. Like at this point, to not have the all-time career hit leader in the Hall of Fame is a joke.
It really is.
There's something, right. Unless there's something else. You think about that. You have the all-time hit leader, not in the Hall of Fame, all-time home run leader, not in the Hall of Fame.
Makes no sense.
You have the guy that's pitched the most, has the most Cy Young
Right.
awards, not in the Hall
It's
of Fame.
embarrassing. Like it's
crazy.
you've got arguably three of your top 5 baseball players in the history of the game aren't in the Hall of Fame. Like that's a problem.
Well, I will say though that the players that we just named, that we talked about, we didn't really name them, but we kind of have.
Oh, we know who they are.
They were all hated in the media outside of their own hometowns.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Bonds. I mean, I didn't like Bonds. Bonds was a tool. Clemens, also a jerk. Pete Rose, a huge jerk, still is.
Right. Yeah. Rumors in MLB said he bets against his own team, but he denies it. So I mean, if he bets against his own team, then there's an issue,
Exactly.
right? Because then you're pulling manager strings where you're like, oh, I really should go to the bullpen, but I'll leave him in for 8 more batters.
I got 50 grand riding on this one. I'm gonna leave him in there.
I know my starter's up to 340 pitches, but he can go 2 more innings, right?
Well, that was like, what was it with the story we were talking about? Wakefield goes out and throws 158 pitch complete game, 8-1 for the bullpen,
crazy.
and that was not based on betting. That was based on him taking one for the team because that's who he was. But
But I mean,
if Pete Rose did all that and there's proof of that, I'd love to know it because I've been firm in my support of he should be in the Hall. Betting on baseball to me is not that big a deal, unless he bet in a way that would alter the outcome of games. Because to me, if you change what happens on the field, that to me is the cardinal sin of baseball. If what you did changes the outcome on the field, that is you should be a lifetime ban. That's why I believe Cora and Hinch should never see a baseball field ever again.
Yeah. I'm with you 1,000% there. There's no reason that should have only been a 1-year suspension.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
And then they both get jobs. Like that's not okay.
Yeah. And they get
not okay to me
immediately rehired by the same team again.
I know. Literally, they hired an interim manager and kept the seat warm for you. Like they hired a guy knowing full well they're just going to let him go at the end of the year. Like,
and he didn't do that bad actually.
No, Renicky wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I know this is tough. And Wake said completely blamed himself for the loss of the Yanks in 2003.
And Aaron Boone is still riding that to a managerial career in New York.
Right. That one swing.
Wakefield was the consummate professional, ultimate team player. And we went off the other night after the news. Like there's no Red Sox player that like when I think of that era of the Red Sox, he's one of the first guys that comes to mind. Like he was that organization for all those years. And and like we hear news all the time of stuff like this, and like that one absolutely stopped me in my tracks.
That one hurt.
Fan, I was shocked by the news too, and I think his wife actually has stage 3.
She does too, yeah.
Something very, very severe type of cancer too, which
it was. Yeah, I mean, for my 2 favorite players, Red Sox players of all time, it's Varitek and Wake, 1A, 1B. I mean, I like I said on the show last week or a couple weeks ago, like it seemed like my first 5 Red Sox games I'd go to, it's like, let me guess who's starting. Tim Wakefield. And it was always him. He never missed games. He was always out there. As she says, she has pancreatic cancer,
which is another awful one that.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But I mean, he was just like, he was always out there. I never saw anybody else pitch except for Wakefield. My first 5 outings at Fenway Park, it was always him.
Yeah, honestly, like when I think back to the the Red Sox as a kid, the 2 people I think of were Nomar. He was really the first player I latched onto, and Wake because he was there so long and he was steady and he was always there, and he was in the community. He was at the friggin' Jimmy Fund like every day, or the Dana Farber
Yeah.
Cancer Institute like every day.
Yeah,
The dude was
he a
was
great guy.
everywhere.
Like one of the very few Red Sox that were like, that I really respected. And
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go to Red Sox Yankees games a lot, and I would go early and I would shit talk Pedro Martinez. And I've told the story on Facebook where he threw me the ball. I still have the ball, but Pedro Martinez is one of my favorite Red Soxes to watch pitch.
Absolutely.
And then Tim Wakefield will probably be number 2, just because that he did it for so long with that knuckleball, and he revitalized his career just by throwing a knuckleball.
Right. Yeah, it's unreal. I mean, the news was tragic. I mean, it definitely like stopped me, like you said, Harrison, for a minute.
Yeah.
I was like, God,
my phone went off, and I think actually it might have been you that sent me the message, Nick. My phone went off, and I'm walking through my kitchen. I remember exactly when it happened. My phone goes off, and I'm like, oh, that's weird, because it was like on a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And I pick it up, and I'm like, oh my goodness. My wife goes, what's wrong? I go, Tim Wakefield died. Even she goes, oh my goodness, that's terrible.
Right. Yeah.
My wife, who's watched like 3 Red Sox games in her whole life,
same.
knew exactly who he was. But like I literally, I was like, oh my God, like that's awful. And I actually talked to her about it for a minute or two, because like I was shocked.
Yeah.
But if you told me like Kurt Schilling died, I would have been like, that's too bad. I would have gone about my day.
Yeah. I just, yeah. Man,
Well, that was like when David Ortiz got shot. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. What the
Like,
heck?
that's crazy. But
I think there's more to that than what we.
oh, there always is.
I mean, it's the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, it's the DR, man.
I don't
There's
even
no rules
pretend
down
to
there.
know what happens down there.
Somebody's on the take.
The Dominican Republic,
Yeah, that's there's a lot more to it. There always is. But anyways.
Yeah, man. That whole, like I said, I mean, Veritek and Wakefield was it for me. Like all-time Red Sox, like no questions asked.
Yep.
Like those two.
Yeah,
Veritek's my number 1. He always will be. Just loved how he handled every single pitcher. He knew.
Really good.
I mean, he called amazing games.
Yep.
It was just it was him for me. But
I don't know how Veritek would do nowadays with like the pitch comms and all the way that they handle the pitcher. I don't know, but for back then he was really, really good.
Yeah, he was old school. He was an old school guy. Oh, look, David Ortiz here with the DraftKings commercials we're talking.
Shocking.
But
yeah, for me it was Nomar, because he was really the first player that I kind of truly idolized. Wakefield, and then Veritek.
Yeah, fair enough.
Those were when I think of that era of the Red Sox, those are the guys I go to.
Yeah.
It's not Manny. It's not even Pedro. Like those guys were great, but they didn't define the Red Sox, like Wakefield did.
Right.
What about like Kevin Millar and the Johnny Damons and some of the sub guys?
They were great characters. Like they were they were
fun to watch.
Exactly. They were
fun
characters in a
of,
story, but they were not like, when I think of what defined the Red Sox, what made that organization what it wasn't those guys. Those guys came in. Those guys were hired guns that came in for a little while to get a job done.
For me, it's those steady dirt dog guys. Your Trot Nixons, your Dustin Pedroias, your Tim Wakefield that will go out and take it on the chin for his team.
Your Mike Timlins and those guys that were there. They were there through the shit and enjoyed the ride.
Yeah.
Jason Veritek for punching A-Rod in the face. I know he's embarrassed to buy it, but
Bronson Arroyo for his great album.
Had to be known.
I hate to say it. I think A-Rod got the best of that. I mean, in the beginning of the fight, but I think A-Rod kicked his ass once he got the camera off of him. And
A-Rod was such a little bitch. Let's be serious.
Yeah, just like he slapped
when he
the ball
slapped
out of
Bronson Arroyo with his
gloves.
purse.
I forgot he did that.
Yeah. A-Rod. So A-Rod to a Red Sox fan was like the most unlikable guy on the planet, kind of like Schilling was to anybody who wasn't there, or many, pick a player on the Red Sox.
Hey, he was almost your dog shit.
Oh God, I'm glad the Red Sox dodged that bullet, because that guy was such a phony.
I mean,
the MLB did that twice to us.
You guys were,
and you ended up with both of them.
That plane touching down.
The hand slap was worse than the tech fight. I agree. That was awful.
For sure.
That was
not
worse.
even close. But yeah, MLB the Red Sox were going to get A-Rod. MLB stepped in and said no, and then somehow he signs with the Yankees. Then they also did it with Teixeira.
Teixeira too, yeah.
Teixeira was coming to Boston, and MLB stepped in and said nope.
The players,
What's, beau-
then ended up
what's
going to
beautiful
New York.
is the Yankees got all those guys and nothing to show for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got 09. We won a World Series in 09.
Yeah, you won one in 25 years. That probably feels pretty good.
Yeah, it felt awesome for that.
In 09, it felt great.
I mean, 04 was good. 07 was pretty good too. 13 was all right. 18 wasn't bad either.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry. We're bragging now.
Yes, you are. But you know,
27 rings, baby. 27.
Yeah, they were all like 50 years ago, but that's fine.
can you imagine how different history might be or may not be had the union not stepped in there and said you can't take a pay
Oh
cut
my goodness.
because of the precedents it might set in the future?
It changed everything. It would absolutely have changed everything. I don't think the Red Sox win with him.
I think they do. I really think that they
You do? I
do.
don't know. I
think
feel like the
they
Yankees won in
play
spite of him.
shortstop. They move Garcia Parra to third, and he plays shortstop. And he was a better shortstop than Derek Jeter.
Yeah, I agree. I
He
agree.
was a big hitter. I mean, his playoff numbers are like
It's,
Mookie,
Mets fan,
but
86.
you know, I mean, he's still gonna hit you 30 every year. He's still gonna hit you.
Oh, I thought he
He's
caught
still
that.
gonna hit over 300.
Yeah. I just A-Rod. I mean, and maybe my feelings about A-Rod are more so because he was a Yankee.
Right.
But A-Rod to me was a guy that put up great numbers until it mattered, and then he disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, he always tried to like shove the ball, like he's like he tried to do that cybermetric stuff now, like the launch angle and all that stuff. He was probably really the first guy to like really like try it in a playoff. It was like instead of like just putting the bat on the ball and like putting the ball in play, he tried to kill it every.
Why is Volo taking Fott out?
Why are they
Gave up a double.
42.
Gave up a double in the fifth. You got to come
42
out.
pitches, and he
Why are we
Like
holding him at 42 pitches?
that's the first ball that was hit hard all night.
And Gurriel almost caught it.
I know. Holy
He
cow!
almost got a great play on that.
Did Dave Roberts make that call to the bullpen? I
No,
missed
this
it.
is somebody with some nerd on the computer going back to what we talked about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
the guy's barely broken a sweat, and he gives up a double, and you yank him with a 4-run lead. Like what has happened here? I mean, and Torey Lovullo is a better baseball guy than that.
I don't like that move.
That's a dumb move. I don't like going to the bullpen that early when you don't need to.
No.
All right. Well, we got Ed's commenting here,
Yeah.
and he's an avid Mets fan. So I want to ask him.
Oh yeah.
What needs to be fixed on that side of New York? Because my God, we have the accusations of handling the IL wrong. Does Pete Alonso get moved? I know I'm throwing a lot of questions at you here, bud, but they spend what $486 million. Doesn't
$2
work.
trillion
They ship everybody out.
later.
Right.
Yep.
And
And then they
Cohen's
paid all the
like,
guys
"Well,
to
it's
go
just
away.
money." Right. I mean, Scherzer and Verlander are getting paid to win a World Series right now. So like
Scherzer's going to make
What-
like $100 million next year, and I don't think the Rangers are going to pay any of it.
No.
3 teams are currently paying Max Scherzer. That blows my mind.
The Nationals and the Mets are for sure paying him.
Oh yeah.
And then the Rangers are throwing in
Yeah.
like his food vouchers.
Exactly, like his
Like-
his food stipend.
Paying his mortgage or something.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. That guy is getting paid
Yeah.
by everybody he used to play for.
Right.
That's the like
Yep.
We lost Craig.
So Beth's point, 13 was better than 04 because of what happened in the city. Like
Yeah.
I was at that parade. It was freaking
Yeah,
awesome.
and
like it was
I love
unreal.
David Ortiz, dropping an F-bomb on the mound at Fenway Park.
Yeah.
Ed, you're right. The Mets
That's
culture
funny.
is weird, and I like the fact that Cohen comes at it both as the owner but also as a fan. Like, this is a guy who is an actual Mets fan. He's not some billionaire that bought the only team available. Like, he bought his team. Like, that to me is
Right.
cool.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I mean, we all were high on the Mets going in for sure. And we're like, all right, he went out, he spent like we thought good money, wise money on players that would make an impact. You get Scherzer, you get Verlander, you got some good pieces with Mark Canha, some filler pieces in there.
That team,
I mean, Francisco Lindor, we talked about, had a quiet 30-30 season.
that team was a
Like, so they
juggernaut.
were like, yeah,
Alonso hit. How
But-
many home runs did Alonso finish with?
he was over 40. I'm pretty sure, right? I don't know exact. I stopped paying attention to the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, well,
a
yeah.
while
I
ago,
I
but
honestly stopped paying attention. 46 home runs.
46.
Yeah, 46 and 118. I mean, you had, Lindor's 30-30, Alonso hits 46. The biggest thing that bit the Mets was the pitching really didn't quite live up. And then you had guys like McNeil that went way backwards. Like way
Yeah.
backwards. And honestly,
Yeah.
and we talked about it in the spring, my concern with the Mets was that you had these 4 or 5 elite guys, and then you had some big holes that you didn't fill. And I think that hurt them.
Yeah.
They had holes around that team they couldn't fill. Third base was a problem all year. Right
Yeah.
field was a problem all year.
Yeah, Brett Beatty came up. They thought he was going to be it, and then he kind of struggled a little bit. They sent him back down. They brought him up. They sent him down. I don't even know where the Mets need to go in this offseason. I haven't really looked very hard at the free agent list to see what's coming up.
And I don't think their farm system has a
but-
lot either.
Yeah, that it's already up here, right? Beatty and Alvarez were your top two.
And Alvarez barely got to play.
prospects.
I mean, they basically benched him.
Oof.
Yeah, right off the hand. That
that's-
hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I thought I got
don't
him on the
like that.
thigh on the one angle. I was
Yeah, no, I didn't. It was a clean shot to the hand. I thought the same thing. I thought it just like grazed him. It hit him square on. That hurts like hell.
I think he's
I
gonna
don't
come
like
out.
And he might. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those bones is broken because it doesn't take
Nope.
a lot.
He's
No,
arguing
get
with
behind the
him
dish.
now.
Gabby, you're fine, buddy. Get behind the dish.
I bet he can't even squeeze that baseball right now.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to.
No, he just needs to catch.
Oh, the friggin' follow through hits to the helmet.
Yeah, that one was
Oof.
bad too.
Oh, and what another one happened was it the White Sox with it happened to Will Smith a couple of times. Wasn't one of them with against the White Sox?
Yeah.
Oh, possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Luis Robert maybe with that big follow through, cleaned him right out.
Did the Mets already hire a new GM? Did I miss that? This is the GM Cohen Warner from day one. So, or because isn't
Stearns, I think, is like was it president of baseball ops or whatever.
oh, gotcha.
So it's the guy.
Gotcha.
It's the guy they wanted to lead.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the guy that
I
Cohen
agree.
wanted to lead the front office all along.
gotcha. I'm totally with him here too. Like, imagine if Correa stayed on the Mets, whatever that. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
president's
good.
fine.
You're good. Ed.
Fine.
We had you because he wanted David Stearns to run the show all along.
But yeah, that whole debacle with Carlos Correa in the offseason too. Like, went to San Fran, nope. Went to New York, nope. Then I guess I'll just go back to the team that's like my third
Right. I
choice.
go to the team
You
that
know,
I'm trying to get
my
away
first-
from.
Yeah, my first 2 blind dates didn't show up, so hopefully my third one will.
Hopefully the X will take me back.
Yeah, I'll go back to the ex
Yeah,
girlfriend.
I'm trying to sneak away from the X, but I'll go back to her now.
I mean, yeah, and I think Correa completely changes the culture of that locker room for sure.
Yeah.
Like, again, the Houston Astro don't really care for him that much personally. I know he's a Twin now, whatever. He's an incredible baseball player. Not taking anything away from him, but he does. He changes that entire team, that entire
He does.
culture, and it fixes your holes. Right, you put him at third. Or, you figure out what you do with him and Lindor on that
Yeah.
side. I don't care who you put where.
I
It doesn't
actually think
matter.
Correa
You got
would be a very good third baseman.
very.
I
good
think he's
third
got a
baseman.
better arm than Lindor, and he's got as much mobility.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
But an interesting rumor
Yeah.
too coming out of New York is that is Carlos Beltran. There's talk of would Carlos Beltran come back?
Ugh.
would they put him in? Would they put him in as the manager there?
I don't know if as the manager, maybe they put him in the front office. I don't know, but
I know you're right, baseball, but
Carlos Beltran, there's a lot of respect for. I mean, granted, he took a lot of heat for the Ed. I want Beltran. So, I mean, Mets
Absolutely.
fans, there's a lot of love.
They wanted him to right,
Yeah.
and they wanted him to begin with.
Right, there's a lot of love
That's
for
who they
Beltran.
wanted
So
to.
he got the rug pulled out from underneath him when the whole trash can thing came out.
Yeah, I think there was like a meme. I remember seeing it. It was like Carlos Beltran's tenure as a Met, and he shows him it's like a cartoon walking in, putting his hat on the rack, going and then turning around, grabbing his hat, and walking back out the door.
Oh, it's like that Simpsons cartoon when Homer walks into the bar and nobody's
Yep.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, just watch.
yeah, it's exactly. I mean, it's terrible because I think he would be a great manager.
I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
watching his career and what he did on the field, like
And-
and he's gonna have that relationship with.
And what I
players,
think
too.
stinks is that Cora and Hinch came right back, and Beltran has
Yeah.
carried more stink from this than anybody, and I don't know why, because he was not the lead dog in it. He was just involved.
No. They just blacklisted.
Yeah,
him
he
right
got.
away.
I feel like he took a bullet for those guys, and he's carried more stink than they have. But I do think that he would be an interesting candidate, either as the manager or maybe even in a front office role, because a lot of respect from the New York fan base and the organization, but a really good baseball guy.
Right. And that's what the Mets need. Like we thought Showalter was going to go in there and make an
Boy,
impact.
that was
and
a
come to find out, it said with the Tommy Pham reports coming out saying that like he had never seen more lackadaisical day-to-day operations than with Showalter at the helm. So it's like the guys just didn't go there to work. They just showed up, kind of rolled the balls out and said, let's go play 9 innings.
Yeah, I
and
have
then
a
that
hard
was
time
it.
believing that with a Buck Showalter team. They always were like hard
I know.
work.
Well, yeah, it was Tommy Pham that came out and said it was like a country club atmosphere,
Yeah.
which I find surprising. Because
I
yeah,
do
Buck
too.
Showalter was an old school hardcore baseball guy.
And that's how I take him as at least, I'm not in any of his clubhouses, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. What's interesting too is another one of the rumors out in New York is that David Stern has a lot of respect for Chaim Bloom.
No.
Just saying.
Yeah.
And another guy too
Yeah.
is James Click, who was the GM of the Astros those 3 years, and they randomly fired him, and even though they won a World Series, or didn't re-sign him.
No, gotcha.
Maybe the Mets can rehire Bobby Valentine. he did invent what, the rap or the panini? What was his
Yes,
claim to
the
fame?
rap.
Yeah.
The rap.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he invented the rap. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Ed. I think it's time for Beltran to go back to New York.
The dude
I think
deserves a
that's-
shot. He got absolutely hosed in the trash can debacle.
Yeah.
Oh, you got Aaron Boone. Don't you worry about it. You're fine over there.
Oh yeah. I'm it's not all on him. Some of it is on him, but
You're right.
Rap from Rap City.
Bobby, that year in Boston was a complete train wreck.
Oh my goodness gracious!
He alienated every player there was by the All-Star break. It was unbelievable.
Was that during Jim's tenure, Beth, or was Jim gone by then?
Oh God, Jim had to have been gone, right? Wasn't that?
I don't
Was
know.
that? Oh God, what year was that?
oh, I forgot Valentine was a Red Sox manager.
Yeah, he was there for about a minute.
That was a dumpster fire of dumpster.
2012. That's right. Because then they won the next year when they.
2012.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim was there. Oh man.
Yeah.
We need to get like a private call so we can hear the inside scoop on that season because that was a disaster.
Now, what did Jim do in the Red Sox organization?
He did a whole bunch of stuff, but he was the on-field trainer in 2004 when they broke the curse.
Yeah, Jim Rowe was the guy that was always running out to the mound to check on the pitchers when they were waving at the dugout.
Oh, so he's the reason why Schilling had all the ketchup on his sock?
Oh boy.
yeah. Jim was eating. He told the whole story on our podcast. He was, eating a hot dog, and it just trickled off.
That was
on his sock.
Good old Heinz 57, baby.
Yeah. No, like he walked us through it. Like I said, it's like one of our very first. It's like our second or third week.
Beth, oh Lord.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Beth, and sorry, Jim, if you're listening.
Yeah,
We know the real truth.
we don't even
I
know
believe
this guy
you
on the
guys. I just like
podcast.
to
We
make
just
jokes
picked.
about that.
Yeah, this Craig guy is just a rando we picked up on the internet.
It was a hell of a
But,
pitching performance.
Yeah, it was.
He walked us through that whole day because we asked him. We're like, what did the preparation look like to get him ready for that? And he did. He told us all about Dr. Morgan and how he helped him like all through that and stuff. And it
It
was
was wild.
It was crazy. It was cool.
Had to
Like,
be a
we
lot of
didn't even-
painkillers involved too.
Oh, I
Cortisone
can't even
shots and pain,
imagine.
you name it. They had him as drugged up as they probably could.
I can't even imagine, man. Like, nuts.
You know what shocks me about that whole situation? The Yankees didn't bunt and try it.
No, I know. You got a pitcher who's
Well, they had
hobbling.
that right. They had that swinging bunt up the first baseline, and he went over. And Red Sox fan, you could all hear him at once go,
Right.
and then he made the play, which was like,
I know,
man,
which
that
was
was
shocking.
so gutsy. It was crazy.
Oh,
But
the
you
Dod-
drop
the Dod-
that, you drop that down the third baseline and make him go over off of his, the opposite way of how he was pitching, and then you had to make,
I honestly don't think
Right.
that Schill would have even moved. He would have just left it because he would have known he couldn't get to it. He would have
Yeah.
hurt himself.
Yep.
I mean, it was a
Yeah,
hell of a,
crazy.
it was a hell of a performance. As
It
a
was.
Yankee fan, it was. I can look back at it. I'm pissed now. I was pissed back then.
Right.
It's a little bit of the knife turning still, but it's still a hell of a.
I mean that start changed everything.
I mean, you think we're all baseball guys,
Right.
Right. Like, yes, we're Yankees fans. Yes,
Whoa,
we're
whoa,
Red
whoa,
Sox fans.
don't you
but,
ever
like,
call me that again.
but like when you see something like that for like the other team, like you can still respect it.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, God, like I hate that it was a Red Sox, but like that was ridiculous. Or like, there's stuff like that Jeter
I was
play
going
in
to say,
Oakland,
just like as Red Sox
much
fans,
as,
we appreciate the Jeter play.
as much as I rag both of those highlight plays from Jeter, I mean, they were
The
good.
unnecessary dive into the bleachers, that one?
Yes, that
Which
one.
one?
That one off Trot Nixon. The one off Trot Nixon where he caught the ball in fair territory and then dove 10 rows into the
You
bleachers.
mean the one that sent
Could've
Nomar
stopped.
packing?
Maybe. But yeah, and then he dove 15 rows in. He could have stopped. But anyways, that's my own thought on that. But I mean, that play against Oakland where they overshot the airmailed the
Jeremy
Cubs,
Giambi
and he
got
made
tagged
that
out.
shovel. Like, why he's there to begin with is another story. But just to complete that play, to catch it running towards the dugout and to flip it backwards and still get the out where Giambi was safe at home, it's still remarkable and athletic. Like,
That was the
I respected Jeter for who he was.
well. That was
He's one of those Yankees where I could just be like, yeah, I respect
and that was
him.
the big
I
change.
respect him.
That was the big change with the Yankees. Like I look at those teams in the late '90s, Bernie Williams and Brocious and Paul O'Neill and Tino Martinez. Like I respected those teams. Those were great ball players. It was when the Yankees started to bring in guys like A-Rod and Teixeira, and you became this. It was just a bunch of, when Jason Giambi, like those guys, like.
Yeah.
That's when that whole organization changed, and it just became about names and how big they were. That's when the dislike for the Yankees really started, because you had a bunch of guys that were loud and flashy that didn't deliver anything.
I agree, Beth, but he was still safe. He was still safe.
I
I will take that to my grave. He was still safe.
Slid. I don't know.
If he slid, he's definitely safe.
1,000%. Because Posada brought the tag up high, just
going
like
in,
a desperation tag.
Because
going
he
in,
was
standing
down.
up, it was close.
But I don't know if him sliding would have slowed him down enough. I don't know.
He would have been safe by a
Probably.
mile. He was safe by a mile as is, so he definitely would have been safe.
Giambi should have slid regardless. Let's be honest.
I agree. But yeah, I mean, like I can respect that as a baseball player, but doesn't mean I like it.
No.
But it's just crazy. Yeah, if he was on the third base side, he would have been safe for sure, 1,000%.
Well, and if he goes in head first, you don't really slow down too much. But either way, it was if he slid, it's a no
you don't
doubt
go in head first that's like a little league rule. You don't go in head first into home plate. That's just you're just looking for broken fingers.
Posada was standing
then too. I mean,
right, but
when the catchers could basically block the plate and you sit.
Yeah. Is this Walker? Oh no, it looked like Walker Buehler for a second.
Yeah, no. They got a bunch of guys that look like him. It's like they print them in the minor leagues and send them up.
That was crazy. Like the way he was standing, I was like, oh, that's Buehler. It's not.
He's like a mirror image.
All right. Let's get it started again, Marte. Let's go. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. This will be, I know there's not like a ton of like top free agents coming up in this offseason.
Who are
but this offseason could be pretty dang interesting. There's going to be managers moving all over the place.
Yep.
And I mean, there are some decent ones. Oh, what a jump. They call that a strike?
So let's see. So according to MLB.com, here are the top 10 free agents this offseason. Shohei Ohtani. Okay.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger.
Okay.
yeah.
Matt Chapman, that would be a big loss for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Blake Snell is a free agent. Josh Hader is a free agent. Aaron Nola is a free agent.
That was the one I was thinking of. They're talking about it on the game today.
Eduardo Rodriguez is a free agent. He opted out.
Oh, really?
Yep. Lucas Giolito is a free agent. Jordan Montgomery is a
No.
free agent.
Yes.
And then Yamamoto, the international free agent.
He's going to the Yankees 1,000%. I don't think he's going anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, according to MLB.com, the three leaders for him are the Dodgers, Mets, and Red Sox. But the Yankees, the
Yankees
do
are
what the
there.
Yankees
They're
do.
gonna.
They're gonna do something this offseason. I don't know what they're gonna do, but
Yep. But
they're gonna
you do have other free agents like Clayton Kershaw, but he probably wouldn't go anywhere. Charlie Morton, Martin Perez. So you do have. I mean, you do have an interesting Julio Urias.
Joey Gallo. Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
That's not a bad one.
Julio Urias, Blake Snell, Aaron Nola, Matt Chapman, Sonny Gray, free agent.
Ooh.
Clayton Kershaw, Giolito, Teoscar Hernandez is a free agent. Jack Flaherty's a free agent. Montgomery, Kenta Maeda.
see. I can see Crenshaw coming to New York.
Yeah. Reese Hoskins is a free agent coming off the injury year.
Yeah, that was a huge loss for the Phillies there too.
Heimer Candelario is a free agent. Ooh, Harrison Bader.
Yeah, pretty much everybody.
Harrison Bader, Craig, you guys gonna make a run at him again?
Oh, probably.
Jock Peterson's a free agent. Hunter Renfro's a free agent. JD Martinez is a free agent.
You guys could get Gary Sanchez back.
Oh, great.
Ahmed Rosario's a free agent. Aroldis Chapman, he could come back.
Oh, awesome.
Tommy Pham, CJ Crone, Luis Severino.
I like
Hey,
Severino.
There's a decent cluster. Craig Kimbrell, Jordan Hicks, Randall Grichuk.
A lot of old guys.
I mean, Joey.
a
Yeah,
lot of recycling.
Joey Votto's got the club option, but he's gonna stay in Cincinnati. I think I see him redoing his contract. They're not gonna pay him $20 million, but he's also not gonna ring chase either. He'll end his career
Right. Luis Garcia.
in Cincinnati.
Luis Garcia is another free agent.
Why swing at that?
There's a bunch of guys.
Kike.
There's a bunch of guys that have options or opt-outs that they may. Eduardo Rodriguez did. Stroman has an opt-out. Jorge Soler's got an opt-out. Justin Turner's got an opt-out. Andrew Heaney's got an opt-out. Tim Anderson's got an option. Max Muncy has an option.
Heaney's an interesting one because he's like one of the 8 starters that are with the Rangers right now,
Right.
but he hasn't really been starting. He's like in the bullpen.
Right.
So that's a very interesting, but he could go somewhere and be in a starting rotation.
Totally could. Javi Baez has an opt-out, but he'd be insane to take it.
Yeah, 1,000%. He'll stay in Detroit because as soon as his contract's over, he won't find a job.
No way. Evan Longoria.
He should retire.
I don't know, man.
He's actually been pretty
Here
good.
he just put, yeah.
He's like 100.
He is. I mean, although we found the other night because we were wondering the same thing. It feels like he's been around forever.
What a take.
It really isn't. I mean, yeah, he's 38 years old, but
His big league debut was 22. We thought it was younger.
yeah, 2008 was his rookie year at the age of 22.
Really? I thought he was around like way before that.
Yeah, we thought it was like he was 19 or 20.
I feel like he's been around the league for like 30 years.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, that's what happens when you play in Tampa and 5 people come to watch you play every day.
True.
Well, and as Red Sox fans, like we saw the guy 19 times a season for what felt like forever.
Right.
Right.
This will be an interesting question for our viewers. With Tampa Bay only pulling 19,000 people for their playoff game, do you guys feel like the MLB should step in and not approve their new stadium until they move to a different
Tell him
city?
to hit the bricks.
I tell him
Yeah.
on sand.
I mean, I don't know if MLB can like literally go in and do that, like force a team to move. But I mean, you pulled 19,000 for your home opening playoff game. You had the second best record in the AL, and you pulled 19,000 people.
I mean,
I feel like you'd have that many people showing up for like a high school championship football game, but they can't come out to a baseball game.
right. I mean, what's sad is
And
the Royals, I think, drew 33,000 or something like that for their.
it was 20,000 in their last home opener. They pulled more. The Royals, the last place Royals, pulled more people in their last home game than the Rays pulled in the first playoff game.
It's pretty bad.
That's sad.
Brutal.
That's sad.
Okay, so Beth says that he loves his team. He would stay in Florida. So why can't they build the ballpark like in Tampa? Is there nowhere to put it? Would he move it to Orlando? Would he consider moving somewhere else? Jacksonville? I mean, Jacksonville.
Oh, jeez, no.
No.
But I mean, like, if he wants to stay in Florida, where are your other options? Orlando has to be it, right?
Orlando, Daytona. It would have to be Orlando.
I mean,
Orlando's hard because, and as somebody who goes down there so many times, Orlando is so full of theme parks and hotels. Like, there's just nowhere to put it.
Right.
So he's stuck with the lease. So he has to stay in Tampa.
Yeah.
But oh, man,
I don't know. I that ballpark sucks.
I get it.
They signed a 32-year lease in 1995.
Well, we got to be close.
2027. So it would make sense where they're building a new ballpark.
That does make sense.
Yeah, so their 30-year lease ends in 2027. So I'm just trying to read some of the latest on it. So, and they have considered moving. They're finding that the options or places to move are going to be no better.
But the Marlins aren't doing any better with their new ballpark. Yeah, they made the playoffs.
They aren't. Florida just doesn't draw. It doesn't draw baseball people. It just never has.
Well, like I said, their whole population is in bed by 6 o'clock because they went to Denny's at 3 for the early bird special. Like,
well, there's that too, but there's also just so much to do in Florida. And in the summer, it is brutally hot in Florida, almost to the point where you can't even go outside.
Yeah. Well, and it's like we were talking about that the other night, and I used to travel to Tampa once a month for work. And I've been to several ball games at Tropicana. And the problem you have is that in Tampa, you're competing against everything else to do. You've got a bazillion bars and restaurants that are like right on the beach. You got boating. You've got all these other things to do. Or you can shag an hour across the bridge to go catch a Rays game in that dumpster of a stadium in St. Pete, and it's not even in like a great area of St. Pete. Like, you're in kind of a crappy area of St. Pete. I went to several games down there, but it was always a matter of, do you do that or do you go hang out on the beach where it's 94 degrees with a little breeze and you can chill out? I mean, the lifestyle is not one where people are like rushing to get to a ballpark. They want to go out and enjoy what they got.
Yeah.
And nobody's from there. Like, there's nobody in that area is from Tampa. Like, there's no I've been a Tampa Bay Rays fan since I was a kid. No, I'm from Cleveland, and I could give a crap about the Rays.
Nobody in the South is from the South.
No.
Let's be honest. Like, I live in North Carolina, and everybody I talk to is like, I'm from Massachusetts. I'm from New Hampshire. I'm from California.
The Rays only sell out when the Red Sox come to town, the Yankees come to town, the Mets come to town, because everybody that lives there is from the Northeast.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Will a new ballpark help?
No.
Sure.
No.
I think at first it will. It will draw, and then the newness will wear off, and we'll be back down to 11,000 people coming.
I mean, the newness at Lone Depot Park hasn't done anything to anything. I mean, they still struggle to get people there.
They do. You're in Florida, you're competing against the lifestyle, and it's hard to get people to be excited to go sit in a baseball stadium for 2.5 hours and watch a game when they got a bazillion other things they can be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing with Tropicana, at least, was when you were in a dome. So, like, you were sitting in the air conditioning, it was comfortable. So when it was 100 degrees, it was nice to be sitting inside, but there's so many other things to do.
Yeah.
It's not like in Boston. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to go hang out at the park, or no, you're going to go to Fenway. What else? The hell else are you going to do?
Yeah.
The outdoor lifestyle is just not the same.
Well, I mean, that's a fantastic point, Beth. Yet they do it for spring training. You know, like, I mean,
yeah. But again, like I think that when you think of spring training, like the Red Sox draw
Smaller
because
stadiums, yeah.
the people down in Fort Myers are from Boston or from the Northeast.
And it's new. It's the start of the season.
Exactly. And it's a chance to get like you can actually get really close to the players there versus like Fenway where you can't even see them.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that spring training is different because it's closer, it's proximity, it's smaller. A lot of people will vacation down there and go. I mean, I know a bunch of people that go down every year. They go down for a week and they rent an Airbnb and go watch as much spring training baseball as they can, and they come back home.
Yeah, I can look at my Facebook feed. I know when it's moving truck day because everyone's like, "Oh, going to Fort Myers."
Everybody's down there. I
Going
mean,
down.
I know a bunch of people that go every freaking year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know if the Rays are ever going to be a big attendance. I mean, they're going to build a 30,000 seat stadium. Like they're not even trying to build a big stadium because they realize they're not going to fill it.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Are they building?
Yeah, the tickets are way cheaper. You're right. Although Rays tickets, I mean, you can walk up day of game for like 42 cents and a free hot dog, and you're in.
Yeah.
It's.
Right.
I mean, I was shocked the times I've gone. We've bought tickets, bottom level, $10, $12. It's like bananas how cheap they are.
It's cheaper than the Sea Dogs right now.
It can be, yeah.
Yep. I did that in Miami. I went up to the window with my two buddies and we're like, "What's the closest you can get us for $20?" And they're like, "How's first base?
How's the bench? You can actually play tonight."
And I'm like, "Right." I go, "How's the first baseline?" And I go, "You can buy Rays tickets with Mexican pesos." I mean, like legit. I mean,
Morgan, they need to put every Rays game at
that's
4:05
awesome.
and tie it with an early bird
Let's
special.
go. We are on fire right now.
And what they'll do, Morgan, is it's going to be a skinless hot dog, so you can gum it.
Oh, God.
Oh my God!
You know, they partner like stadiums with like the Hard Rock Cafe and different things like that. You can put that in there.
This game's sponsored by Metamucil.
The Tampa Retirement Center. I mean, I don't know. So kind of piggybacking off that, then does the expansion teams are coming in? They're coming 5-6 years down the road. Where are the best cities to go?
Nashville.
Nashville, I think, is pretty much set in stone.
Nashville's a good
I know
market.
they'd be pissed about it with the TV market, but Nashville.
Yeah, I'm going to be blacked out of that too. That's going to be great. So
you're blacked out of like half the teams because of where you are.
3 markets I'm blacked out, and the closest MLB team I have is 5.5 hours away.
Yeah.
So
That's
North Carolina is another great place to put a team.
Charlotte.
Well, yeah, Vegas is going, so that's approved. But that's not an expansion because the A's are just moving.
Right.
But that was a market they would have expanded to if the A's didn't move.
Absolutely.
They keep their A's name when they're in Los.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, that's the rumor, anyways, that they're keeping the A's name.
Yeah, they should be the Aces, the Las Vegas Aces.
It's already taken. That's the WNBA team.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the WNBA team. Already has that.
Yeah.
Oh well, A's is still the good. It's what the A is on the card.
Yeah. So I think Nashville's definitely set in stone. I would love Raleigh, North Carolina. I think it'd be perfect. But yeah. Oh, Mexico City's actually that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
No, I think that's too dangerous of a city to move an MLB team.
Well, it wouldn't be Mexico City, it'd be Monterrey. So it's probably, I don't know where that is. I'm not up on my Mexican
after watching the
geography,
Padres hit 29 home runs down there, and that
No.
that would be worse than Coors Field.
I
No, you would have to build a monster stadium.
Yeah, 700 feet to dead center.
Yeah, absolutely.
Morgan asked about the realignment. We talked about that earlier tonight. You know, we think you go to the NFL style of the 4 divisions of 4 teams. Craig actually wanted to see it more like 2 divisions, much bigger divisions. But I think they'll do more geographic. They'll do the 4 like the NFL. That way, it keeps the travel or keeps some travel to a minimum. But really, with the balanced schedule, the divisions almost don't matter.
I think you go. What do you go? You go Boston, both New Yorks, and
Baltimore, or Toronto,
or Philly,
or Philly,
or yeah. I mean,
the Red Sox will never win that division.
Then you would have like Toronto, Detroit, Chicago's.
Probably, yeah.
Or no, Toronto, Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. You would go right
Oh
there.
yeah, be your north.
Then you would go Minnesota, Milwaukee, both Chicago's.
Yeah.
Well,
St. Louis, Colorado, both Texas's.
Well, but you could do an AL and an NL, East and North. So it could be like the Red Sox, Red Sox, Yankees. Maybe the Blue Jays. No, Blue Jays would go north. Maybe the Orioles stay in that division.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, if you want to keep them in the same league. Yeah. But again, you have universal DH now. It doesn't matter.
I mean, literally,
I actually
no difference between an NL team and an AL league team now. Yeah. Absolutely none.
I've been saying all along that if you're going to stick to the balanced schedule, the divisions almost don't matter anymore. You're playing everybody the same. You could almost just go AL, NL, call it good, or East and West.
And so I brought this up, and I'll ask the people that are listening: would the MLB think about expanding it to 8 teams? Then
I would.
MLB playoffs to 8 teams. You don't have the first round bye. You don't have the big layoff.
I think if
then it's set up like hockey.
Cut it from 162 and they bring it down to like 150.
It was like 154 before they expanded it to 162. So, I mean, you probably could do that, get that week back, add another series. I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah.
I mean, you could potentially be playing in November in Boston and have it snow.
That'd be friggin' something.
Yep.
Yeah, we agree. Yeah. We agree, Ed. You'd have to reduce the schedule, or you'd have to change the schedule somehow. Either start earlier or take games out.
Then starting early, you run into the same problem in reverse. It's fucking miserable in the Northeast.
Well, right. You think about all the northern teams that start on the road.
I was going to say, but at the same time, if MLB was smart, they'd tell the teams in the North, hey, we're going to start a week earlier, but you guys are all starting on the road.
Yeah.
Well, then they'd be pissed because they want they want their home money and all that.
Exactly.
I'm with you here, Morgan. I am all about
it. I think there should be like a winter league. They just move all the games down south like spring training. I would watch baseball 12 months out of the year. I'm all for it. Snow baseball. Yep. Play finish the season, send them down south and do a winter league. I'm in.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I thought New Jersey too. It's an interesting spot.
It is.
Bring down the game number, not as many spring training games, and get rid of some playoff games.
I mean, the thing is, like, you look at the map and where all the major league teams are, like 2/3 of them are all Eastern third. Like, they need to get, like, I like the idea of Salt Lake City, not necessarily the best market, but a good market. You need to, get Portland, Oregon's like, you need to go west. You need to put some more teams out in the west because.
But I know that's a bitch of a travel.
It's a brutal one, yeah.
But I mean, that's
to where?
Unique, like in a fantasy
Hawaii.
Talking, but
there's not enough population out there to support a baseball team, would there?
I don't know.
Oklahoma City, that's a good one.
Yeah, Oklahoma City would be a good one. If you think Tampa doesn't draw, just wait until people are riding the waves and saying, I'm not going to the baseball game tonight. If you're in Hawaii, are you going to go sit in the stadium? Hell no, I'm on the beach.
Yo, big cuz we'll go baseball game? No, yeah.
I'm gonna go eat poke and jump on the surfboard. I'm out.
Hear me out. They don't put bleachers or seats in. It's just all beach sand.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
It's like a big, first time it rains, you're just like sitting on a big dune in the outfield.
Yeah. First time it rains, you're screwed. But you know what?
Yeah, your stadium have to get redone every week.
Yeah. Oklahoma City, that's an interesting one, Morgan. That is a good one. It puts another team out there in the West.
Yeah,
it's actually
at least on the other side of the Mississippi.
At least on that
city,
right.
Market to put a team.
Do what?
I think that's a shitty market to put a team. They're not that, it's not that big. It's not like. It's not
but there's nothing around there.
It's not a Nashville. It's not a.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean. But people would go from around there. The closest team is what? Either Kansas City,
St. Louis,
or Dallas, or Texas. Those are your 2 closest teams. To Oklahoma
the Oklahoma City metro market is about 1.5 million people. So
which is the same as Raleigh. So screw that and just come to Raleigh.
They're not coming to Raleigh. They're gonna go to Charlotte if they go anywhere.
And from in terms of media markets, they consider San Diego a small market. It's 3.5 million people.
Yeah. That's a great point, Ed. I completely forgot about that.
Oh, that was the worst. Robert Edwards. He was the next big thing, and
his rookie season just tore Did the same thing I did with my team, and still 4 years.
Yeah, we've
brutal.
mentioned that a couple of times. Just there when we talk wherever you get into like all-star breaks and special festivities and games, we always go back to him blowing his knee out on the beach.
That's so horrible.
Brutal.
I wonder what he's doing now, just out of curiosity. It's one of those things, like, where did he end up in life?
He's playing in the CFL. Yeah, I mean, it will be. I like I said, I think this offseason is going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be interesting these next few years how things kind of shape up with how these teams are going forward, and then the expansion teams possibly coming in the next 5-6 years. Like, it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how the landscape changes. Because I mean, you think about how the game itself has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So much this year by putting in the new rules, and it's made baseball better and more popular. So if we can get them into these little smaller markets, it's only going to do more. I think it's going to get more eyeballs on your TV, and if you get more teams to the playoffs, you're going to have more opportunity to make money. MLB is not going to turn that down.
No.
So I mean, we'll see. San Antonio's another good one. That's a decent.
Another Texas team though.
Yeah.
But Texas is a huge state.
Yeah.
Right.
And they
could pull from Mexico.
They could, and we were laughing because you're going to have the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros ALCS. They're almost 4 hours apart.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost as far as Boston to New York, and you're in the same state.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It will be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much the union would be involved with those decisions.
Oh,
if at all.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine they're going to be involved because then you get into, they're going to want to understand amenities, lifestyle, state taxes, because that all factors into how some of these players, what they're using to pick where they sign. I mean, that was like A-Rod when he went from the Texas Rangers to the New York Yankees, that cost him a boatload of money because he went from paying no state tax in Texas to paying state and city tax in New York.
True.
And the union was like, "What are you doing? Like, you're going to hurt yourself." He's like, "I don't care. I went out of Texas."
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he wanted
so
bad he was going to take a massive pay cut.
Right.
He was going to pay in taxes in New York to go to Boston, but we all know how that turned out. We already talked about that tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So a formula worked for NBA and NFL to expand the postseason. They got a bit greedy with wild cards, but MLB could make it work with 8 teams. I'm all about that 8-team playoff.
I am too.
I don't hate
8-team, not 18. I can't talk.
8-team.
But yeah, 8-team playoff.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Because it takes away that 1 week break between the wild cards.
Yeah, because this week off for baseball is stupid, and you're seeing it in the DSs. You're seeing it play out.
And then Beth says this is the most powerful union in all of sports.
They are.
So
100%.
Yep.
It's like the mafia.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah. It would, yeah.
Although I would argue that maybe the umpires union is stronger considering Angel Hernandez still has a job.
No, he got fired. He's done. They cut him.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. He's no longer.
When did that happen?
Baseball.
Oh my God! This should have been a party tonight. Why are you just telling us this?
I thought you guys all knew.
No, there's been no news of
it. There was news about it last week.
Where?
No, they weren't. They weren't putting him on any playoff games.
Oh, maybe I misread it and thought.
Yeah, he didn't qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, well,
I don't think they can. I don't think they can fire anybody. I mean,
I don't think. No, everyone's calling for it, but I haven't seen.
I mean, the dude sued MLB and he still can't get fired. I mean, come on.
There's a YouTube video that says, here's why MLB can never fire Angel Hernandez. Yeah, they'll just ask him not to umpire games.
Yeah, they just leave him off the schedule. They're going to pay him forever. He never will qualify, as he shouldn't, because they actually rate these umpires, and that's why Angel Hernandez has been in the playoffs so few times, because he rates at the bottom every friggin' year.
Well, how much of it is that he's just a shitty umpire, and how much of it that he just stopped giving a crap?
I think he does it on purpose now because he's like, hey, you guys can't fire me. Watch me screw this up.
Probably.
That Bryce Harper call the other
was
night was
egregious.
absolutely
That
horrendous.
to me is a fireable offense. It was so obvious. And he did it, and he immediately walked down the line looking at Bryce going, come on, fight me, because I'm going to throw you out.
Yeah.
I honestly think he does it on
I mean,
purpose just to create chaos.
He had to have, like, it wasn't even close. I mean, he barely
he's
took
not
the
a-
bat
he's
off
not
his
a good
shoulders
person.
and run him up. Yeah.
He doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. Just crazy. Yeah.
And Ed, that non-baseball sports fans know the name Angel Hernandez is quite an accomplishment. I mean, that's the thing. He's so bad.
Yeah.
Like he's so bad. Everybody, he's a household name for being like, man, you
Right.
angeled that one. Like that's going to be a household thing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I saw their main men's baseball umpire, and I got run up.
What was that? You
Jimmy
threw out the
hates
stats. It was absolutely horrendous. What was 160 like blown
Yeah.
calls in like 10 games?
Umpire auditor found that he had blew out like 161 calls in 10 games, and they actually had like a little highlight reel of all the bad calls. It was
Are we
horrendous.
talking like balls and strikes, just kind of on
Everything, ball strikes, outs, all of it. 161 bad calls in 10 games.
He had an umpire scorecard. I looked it up. I might still have it on my phone. The correct pitch called percentage was 65%.
It's horrendous.
65.
What's the MLB?
Joe West was just as bad, and CB Buckner is also just as bad.
However, Joe West does have country albums.
Oh, he does. He does.
Yes.
I like
Country Joe.
at least Joe West would make it up on the back end. Like if he fucks something up, he would
He,
Which just compounds the issue.
that's the thing. Like Joe West sucked. Like he sucked, and he liked the fight. And I do think there were times like he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I blew that one. I better fix it." But but he sucked. I mean, he was terrible. Oh, who was Nick's worst enemy, Angel Hernandez or Joe Buck?
Ooh.
If both men were on fire, who would you save?
I'd walk away.
Why do you hate Joe Buck?
Honestly,
Wow.
it's Joe Buck for me.
Was your fantasy team Joe Buck yourself?
Yes, Joe Buck yourself.
Why do you hate Joe Buck so much?
I
How
can't
could you
stand
not?
the dude. Okay, honestly, it started in the 2019 World Series
God.
when the Nationals were playing the Astros, and he kept announcing Anthony Rendon's name over and over, and he was like, Anthony Rendon from Rice University, because Rice is in Houston. So if you didn't know, Anthony Rendon's from Rice University. Oh, here comes the Rice University alum, Anthony Rendon. Oh, and Anthony Rendon goes deep from Rice University. I was like, dude, we get it. Stop. Like, just stop. And I hate his style of announcing. I can't with him.
See, to me, he's the voice of the World Series.
He is. I hate to say it, but I agree.
When somebody says the World Series, I think of Joe Buck and all of his
Every big World Series moment in my life has been his voice.
Yeah.
I can't.
I totally agree. And I hate it, but it's true.
Game 7 is a must win for both teams.
Yep.
Yeah, no shit.
Thank
Joe
you,
Buck.
Captain
Like,
Obvious.
I mean, it's just stuff like that. I can't. Like, I get it. I get like he's on every broadcast, but
Yeah. So
gotta put that non like kind of like the like the Pink Hatters, I will call them.
the Pink Hatters.
yeah, I just can't.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
I-
I don't know.
Hype it up and build it up for those types of folks. But I don't think he's that bad. I know that a lot of Boston people hate him because it seemed like he was pro Yankee for so long.
He was.
I don't think he was. I really don't think he was.
He was such a jock sniffer.
He was a jock sniffer, but
At least we can agree on that.
Is
Yeah, he is.
I think
I don't
was
know.
because he's not on Fox. He just does, ESPN.
I think the hard part.
That's fine.
I think the hard
Stay
part
there.
too is that Joe Buck, when the Yankees were winning all those World Series, he was doing them. So it was like every year they'd win, and he was the voice you heard, and it was obnoxious.
But did Joe Buck get his job because he's good at it, or because his dad was good at it?
I think he's good at it. Like he's hilarious too. Like not.
Oh, so funny. Yeah, he's hilarious.
What about
I hate
the Buckmere show or whatever that was? He was hilarious in that.
Listen, I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch another show with Joe Buck
Craig.
in it. So I've never seen it.
Craig, I'm with you. I don't love him, but he is the voice of the World Series.
He is.
I'm with you.
Can't.
Nick
I can't.
Nick cannot get over it. He just can't.
Okay, next subject. So who's more conceited?
Better-
Joe West or
Better
Angel
yet,
Hernandez?
you answer that question for us because Jim's got on-field experience with these folks. I always thought it was Joe West because he had that look on his face like he wanted to screw with you and he wasn't afraid of you and he wanted the fight. Angel Hernandez usually looks lost and confused.
No, I think Andrew Hernandez is more of an asshole than Joe West.
I think he is too. I think Joe West looked the part better though. Like he always had the way he'd stare people down.
That's fair.
Right.
too.
He
Yeah.
did. He looked like that.
Oh, John Sterling. Oh yeah, John Sterling is terrible.
Yeah,
I
I'm with
can't. I
you
don't know
there
how
for
anybody
sure.
listens to that guy.
Oh,
I don't
now we're hitting hard. No, come on. I,
Was he announcing
An
some playoff
A-Bomb
games this
from
year? Did I hear his
A-Rod.
voice?
what's that?
Was he announcing playoff games?
No. He might have.
Can I just tell you that I love that Justin Turner hit 2 foul balls off his face this year? Anyways,
Jesus Christ.
not one, but 2.
Oh yeah,
I-
Sterling and Susie Waldman. That was horrendous. That was so
together.
bad.
That was really bad.
They suck
Yeah.
together. I don't like that pairing.
Oh, the
No.
memes of that were so funny
I don't know.
because she
The Red
was so bad.
The Red Sox guy there, that's like the squeaky voice guy that I think he just passed away recently. Or,
Jerry Remy.
No, not Jerry.
Dude,
Remy.
if you make fun of
It was
Remy, I'm
radio-
coming
it
through
was
this camera. I will choke you out.
Yeah, right. I will hop on a
Yeah,
plane.
if
and
you
come
make
beat
fun of
your
Remy,
ass.
the two of us will be on your doorstep before you know it.
I mean, I could talk some shit about Remy, but no, I was talking about the radio voice.
What? Morgan, get
I don't
out!
know.
Get out!
Listen, my favorite clip
Dawn
is
and-
when him and Orsillo absolutely lose it when that fan throws the pizza.
Dude,
at
That
the
was
guy.
hilarious. That was
Oh my God.
priceless.
I used to love when Don and Jerry would just like break into this. They would just like get off track and they would be laughing their asses off for like half an
Yeah.
inning.
Yeah, the score's 26
Yeah.
to 2, and they have nothing else.
I
to
mean,
do.
literally,
Like,
Don.
no.
There is no better announcing duo in sports history than Don and Jerry. Period. End of story.
and
no.
1,000%
End of no,
with you.
not for,
And
it's not
that's
up for
a fu-
debate, Craig. This is our show. I'll kick you off.
Just like so.
And like that, he's gone.
No, no, but like, I mean, oh, they were so. I was so sad when Orsillo left. Like that
And he's
was
great in San
that
Diego.
one was hard.
It's too bad the team sucks, but he was great in San Diego.
Well, what about the fact
I
I was
tuned into
watching-
Padres
I was
games,
watching.
right.
I was watching Padres games this year just to hear Don.
for sure.
Can I say that I'm really disappointed in the Red Sox organization when Don Orsillo made that tribute video and they wouldn't even play it.
That's brutal.
That was bad.
That is
brutal.
dog.
That
That's
is
that goes back to that fair weather dog shit mentality that.
No, you're 100% right. That they did a nice job honoring Jerry Remy, but they did not let other people participate as they
Which
should have.
should have, because Jerry Remy wouldn't even be half of what he was without Don Orsillo. But I know that you guys like those two, but they were decent
No.
together.
Craig, you like them too.
They're in the top 5, but they're not like the greatest.
I mean, Morgan. I mean, Vin Scully is Vin Scully. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't really.
All right.
You can't. His storytelling and like how he could just tell the story, say the pitch, say the
Oh, yeah.
play, and then go right back into the story was something that like
Happened 35
even-
years ago.
and it was unreal. I could listen to Vin Scully tributes while I'm like,
Yeah, I mean,
falling asleep.
Vince
The story,
Vince
it's
Scully.
so good.
Vince Scully is a legend for sure. But Don and Jerry, come on, let's give some
Yeah.
love here.
So here's some more Red Sox insight here. So here's like a quick story that said they were wearing yellow suits one day. Jim came out of the dugout pregame, looked at both, just lost it. I mean,
They were
hilarious.
fun. They
Yeah,
and I don't.
and then the whole thing with
And I
Orsillo,
don't
I
get
guess that
what happened.
owner-
I mean, they
yeah.
brought Orsillo in. They gelled so well. And then all of a sudden they were just like, get out of here. And then they brought in like, was it Dave O'Brien, who was terrible.
Yeah, he was doing the radio
Yeah.
broadcast for years and
mean,
years, and then they
I shouldn't say he's terrible. He's a good broadcaster, but he wasn't like he didn't have the rapport with Jerry. Like it was really awkward at times with the two of them.
Well,
How do you guys feel about like the new like I mean Wake was there in the booth for a little bit,
Yep.
and then they had Eckersley, Euclid. Do you like Euclid in the booth?
No.
no.
I love Uke as a
No.
player, but he was not good in the booth.
Yeah.
Eckersley was good. Really out of the group, I think Eckersley was really the only one that was good. And the other guys were interesting. They added some interesting color. Kevin Millar on MLB Network for a while there. Like Kevin Millar was pretty good.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Kevin. I like Kevin.
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised. It was
So,
probably a
MLB
power move or something, but
Is Kevin Millar still on MLB Network?
I haven't watched
Yeah, he
MLB
still
Network
does
in forever.
he still does intentional talk and all that stuff.
Is it
Yeah,
still he and
I'm
Chris
pretty sure
Rose?
so.
Yeah, that sucked when they let Chris Rose go.
Oh, it's Chris Rose gone. Yeah, they were good together.
They were.
Yeah, I don't know, but my favorite announcer right now is John Smoltz.
He's so good.
Like,
Yeah.
the reason I
That
like
whole
him
Braves
is because
booth.
like, yeah, but I mean, even when Smoltz is on the national broadcast, like he breaks down pitching like nobody I've ever listened to on a broadcast before.
Because he's
And as an absolute baseball nerd, I love that. Like, and he does it in a way where a casual fan can still understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, like he's not so scientific about it that it's
Or
brutal.
just put Manny and
watch
Poppy
Ducks
on the
and Fries.
broadcast.
Yeah,
That would be
awesome.
just a bunch of gibberish for 9 innings. You know,
God, that
when I
was
think back to
hilarious.
like early days watching the Red Sox and it was Sean McDonough, I never liked Sean McDonough with the Red Sox, and I didn't really grow to like him until probably, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 years. I always felt like he was kind of a condescending dink on the air, and I've kind of grown to like him like in other sports, but I
He's
never
really
liked
good
him
at
with the
college
Red
football.
Sox.
Yeah.
McDonough's really good at now college football.
He's great for football, yeah. Smoltz is the Tony Romo of baseball.
awesome.
Oh, that's
Fair
so
enough.
good.
Fair enough.
I mean, but
I just love when Tony Romo's like, "Oh, I wish I would have known this when I was playing QB." It's like,
Right.
yeah.
now, if back when I was playing, I would have thrown that to the other team to fool everybody.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's like, have you seen the Braves booth when they've got like Smoltz in there? They've got they'll have
Chipper.
Smoltz, Chipper, Glavin. Like they got all these guys that rotate through there. They're so good.
Yeah.
Jeff Francoeur. Jeff Francoeur is funny as hell. He is
Yeah.
funny as hell.
I haven't
Yeah,
watched
he's
much
awesome.
Braves broadcast.
Oh my God, their broadcast is so good on Valley Sports. They got those guys rotating through the booth, and sometimes it's all of them in there. It is a friggin' riot.
There's that one story that went viral where the announcer that was there was announcing when Chipper was still playing.
Oh yeah.
And he asked him, he goes, "How come you don't?" He's like, "How come you swing first pitch or something like that?" And Chipper's like, "Because that's usually the best pitch of the at bat." He's like, "Why? You don't think I should swing?" And he goes, "No, you should work a count." And Chipper gets up first at bat, takes a fastball right down the pecker, and he turns and he looks right up at the booth, right, and stares at the guy for like 30 seconds, and then gets back in. It's so funny.
Yeah, Morgan
But-
agrees. Francoeur is awesome in the booth. He is really good, and he's funny as hell.
That dude had an absolute cannon
Oh,
strapped to
man,
his
he
shoulder.
had a
I've seen
hose.
him play live in Colorado. He was playing for, he might have been with the Mets at that time. And he made a play off the wall and turned around and threw it. And I had never seen a baseball out of someone's hand
Yeah.
like rise like a golf ball. And I was like, dude,
Yeah,
what?
he unfortunately got
cannon.
overshadowed by guys like Vlad Guerrero who played at the same time, but he had an absolute hose.
Yeah. Crazy.
I remember like
Oh,
one
yeah.
time going back, it was like a Red Sox Yankees game in Fenway Park. And I just remember like when you actually realize the skill gap between like the minor leagues to like the major leagues and stuff like that. And you actually watch like Jeter and Nomar and those guys cover the distance that they actually cover on a diamond. And you're like, holy
Yeah.
shit. Like TV doesn't do it justice until you actually see it with your eyes and see how
Yeah.
big like Fenway Park is and the other stadiums and see how much they actually cover for ground.
Yeah. We went to Nationals and Orioles this year as a weekend trip for like the podcast, me, Harrison, and Sean.
Yep.
And we were in Nationals Park, and Alex Call, he's a rookie for Nationals. This dude is just roaming center
Oh my
field
God.
like it's nothing.
Huh.
Just covering ground. Nothing landed in the gaps. He just caught it
No,
all. And I was
you're like, oh my God, it's going to get down. Like he's
Insane.
standing underneath it. You're like, how the hell did he get there?
yeah,
Oh, like we
crazy.
saw Francisco
That's
Lindor go
wild.
into the hole on a play, and he just like turns and lets it rip, and the guy was out by like 2 steps. And I'm like, A, how did he get to that ball? And B, how the hell did he turn and fire it and still beat the guy by 2 steps?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
they're
was.
all freaks.
Yeah, I think it was like a meme of like actually showed like when Oakland when the Raiders were in Oakland and they still had that baseball field and you actually see the yardage from like third base
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
home. I mean, It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
We got 4-0, top second, first and second, 2 outs for the Dodgers here.
I mean,
1-1 count.
what do you got? $1 billion on the payroll getting swept right now?
you got a lot, and you got some big money guys who've done nothing for you.
What just happened? Why is he taking pitches?
I'm not sure.
You get injured?
I see Taylor coming up to bat.
We were talking.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. I missed it too.
Yeah, he's like taking a warm-up
Uh-oh.
toss.
Catch that. Oh, it's gonna get down.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
All right, 4-1. Not a backbreaker.
It wouldn't hurt my feelings any if the Dodgers got eliminated.
Oh God, I'd love the Dodgers.
No, I need them. I need them out.
I love what Dave Roberts did for the Red Sox in 2004, but I don't. I think he's got to be the worst manager in baseball history.
That never happened. It's all a myth.
See, that's the reason he's not going anywhere is because he's listening to the front office, and he's just gonna do whatever they want.
Like he's just a robot. They're just they're phoning in the moves and he's doing them.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with Kevin Cash. It's the same way with
Kevin Cash. I'm pretty sure Kevin Cash runs that team.
I don't think he does.
Going to get
I don't
no, and that's the reason Boone's still in New York because Boone will do whatever the front office
Boone's got 2003. He's still holding and naked pictures of somebody.
No, well, he might have naked pictures, but he's not riding that 2003 anymore.
The guy had one big hit in his whole life, and he's riding it to a managerial career.
But he does whatever
He does.
His end game management is horrendous.
Awful. Worst might be the worst in baseball.
He cannot manage a bullpen. He cannot do any of that. And somebody else has to be pulling the strings. That's the only excuse for it. His handling of Clay Holmes earlier in the season, you're going to defend that?
No.
Okay. Okay. I was just like, I don't know. Just, it can't.
There's something going on in New York, but I don't know what it is yet.
But it ain't good.
It's not good, whatever's a brewing.
How about a big K?
Damn, another hit? Come on.
Oh, God.
4-2. Come on.
Hose him.
This is when you play MLB The Show and somebody magically gets like weird hits for no reason. The game is just giving them hits.
Are you coming up on a rage quit here? Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking I might rage quit here. I might disconnect the paddle.
That wasn't even a bad pitch.
It wasn't. It was actually a really good piece of hitting on a tough pitch.
Yeah.
Of course, Kike starts hitting now.
Of course. You can't field and throw, but he can hit.
Oh, dang it. Come on. We got to get out of this.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Bob Costas, he's a great baseball announcer.
I could give or take.
I'm
okay with Bob Costas. I whatever. He's good.
I mean,
he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
He's good.
Yeah. Still, my very favorite call of all time is Gary Thorne. When they had the Baltimore riots, was it a few years ago?
Yes.
And he makes that Masters voice call. It's like there's a fly ball hit the deep center field. Jones whacks the son of a gun off the wall. Pulls into second with it.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, it's funny how many of those guys like used to rotate through ESPN and do Sunday Night Baseball, and they're all over the place.
Yeah. And then like Gary Thorne used to do hockey.
Oh yeah.
He was really good at hockey, actually.
Yeah, he was.
That's going to be easily the hardest sport to do a play-by-play.
Jack Edwards. God. That's why Jack Edwards is so good.
Yeah, it's unreal. Like just to spit out those last names is.
Edwards is good, but he gets annoying quick.
Oh, he does for sure. But I think you have to as a hockey guy because it all goes so fast. For me with Jack Edwards, it's the catchphrases: 2 U's, 2 K's, 2 points. Like he's got these really just ridiculous catchphrases that stick.
But man, there's no way I could study every single player on each team and still not be able to spit it out fast.
It moves too fast, man.
Yeah. You gotta almost. I don't know how they do it.
I feel like you have to be the Micro Machine Man to be able to catch up.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Crazy.
I wish they still made Micro Machines.
I miss those commercials.
Yeah.
He was awesome. How
I
fast
think
he
it was
could
the EA Sports guy that actually did both. I'm not convinced, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh, there was a video going around not that long ago, maybe a year or two ago. The guy that did the EA Sports in the game, the guy that used to do that.
Yeah. Who's in for us right now? Mantiply already pitched, so this has got to be. We got to get out of this right now.
Yeah.
South Frank, you did good the other day.
That teal is on the back of their name is kind of weird the way the light hits it at different angles and it looks
Love it. All about it. So good.
some
So, yeah.
parts look like a kid like did like watercolors on it, and then other times it looks
Right. It's like translucent.
yeah.
But yeah. All right.
How do you get that ball?
It's all right. We're out of it. Let's
There's
go.
I just dropped the EA Sports video in the chat.
All right. We need to get a couple runs here, and I'd feel a little bit more comfortable. But yeah. All right. You guys want to probably wrap her up here? We've been on for 3 hours.
I know this has been. It's actually just been a lot of fun. Just like
it's
getting
been a
back in the
blast.
chat. It's been good,
Definitely.
having people dropping stuff in the chat.
Yeah,
Ed and
absolutely.
Beth and Morgan and
Yeah.
I appreciate having me. I had fun tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we'll do it again. I'm sure we'll get on again at some point during the playoffs here, and
maybe some World Series even.
yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk some more ball and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks to Ed and Morgan and Beth for joining the chat. Like that was fun. I always love getting insight from like Beth and Jim, who was like in the Red Sox organizations for so long. So it's really cool to get insight there. But
yeah,
yeah. So really cool. And then thanks to you for hopping on with us and talking some ball. But yeah. So thanks for tuning in. If you're still watching, just like, follow, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. We will be on Monday at 8, and we'll actually have our full show there. So we will see you all then.
Awesome.
Awesome. See you guys.